Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high, cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold on, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live, somebody. Let's go.
Good evening. Good morning and good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. We got an update. Well, this is crazy. I don't know what the hell is going on. I'm going to be real. This is some breaking news. Breaking news. We got to get into this here very, very shortly. But honestly, oh my gosh. So here's some things that are going on right now. Something else is going on the other side, on the West Coast now. No joke. This is real. It started to break. This is breaking news. This came out just a little bit ago, and we're going to be talking about this. You see the title up above or down below, wherever you're watching this show. This is not good. This is no bueno, and especially Portland. Why do I feel like we're back in the first term? Why does it feel like we're back in 2016-ish times? Why? Doesn't it feel like that a little bit? Did we jump into a time machine and we're going all the way back to that time? Remember when Portland was in it was in bad shape? I know some other people be like, it's a blue state, it's always in bad shape. But do you remember when it was in bad shape? There was encampments and all types of stuff. Remember that? I mean, it was literally a blink of an eye ago. I'm just letting you know. Remember that ish? Okay, I'm done. Portland, no! So do me a favor. We got to get into this. Here we go. I feel like it's all over again. You know, it's that relationship. I'm sorry. It's like that relationship that you told yourself, like, nope, not going back. I don't care if the bedroom sessions are fire. I don't care. I'm not going back. But we back here again. We find ourselves, hungover the next morning going, damn, I did it again. I'm in the situation again. We're in this relationship, and they're like, oh, we're together. We're lovers again. You know what I'm saying? You're like, damn, I told myself never again. You know what I'm saying? You know? Like, Gone with the Wind. I will never go hungry again. But then you find yourself with just your tube socks on, hungover as hell, and you roll over and you see the face, and you're like, ah! You know what I mean? We're back at that again. Welcome to the first term all over again. Okay. Oh my God. Please do me a favor though. Hit that like button down below. Crush that reaction button if you're watching on these other platforms. Let it do what it do. If you are watching on these other platforms like Facebook, X/, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, Twitch, Kick. I'm on all them mugs. Make sure you're hitting that follow button. Follow. Subscribe here on my YouTube channel, please and thank you. Go check out the Pascal Show clips and Pascal Raw. Those are two other YouTube channels that I have as well. Make sure you're subscribed over there too. Hit that notification bell on all of those platforms so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, please and thank you. Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Support this channel if you can. Check out my Patreon if you want to support even further. And of course, check out PascalMerch.com. We got some really great stuff over there. PascalMerch.com. Let it rip. Check it out. Great stuff over there. Okay. Sorry, I just had to get that all out of my system. All right. I found out about this through some of you guys commenting on the previous show, and I heard about this situation right here, and we got to break this news. 2 people have been hit by ICE agents, guys. But this time in Portland, Oregon. Yeah. So now we got a situation out in Portland, Oregon, not Minneapolis. So now we're like, it's just escalating because it was at first it was Minneapolis when, with the whole George Floyd thing that happened. And then a little while later, Portland took over. Portland was doing its thing, right? It was Portland. I think it was Seattle too, something like that. If my memory serves me correctly, it was pretty bad, right? But now we have a situation where two people were hit. They're in a hospital right now. First off, thank God they're still alive. I want to make that abundantly clear. They're still alive, but they were shot by ICE agents in Portland. I also want to remind you, there's been protests going on over there as well because of everything that's going on in Minneapolis. So now you got protest over there, and two people, a man and a woman, from what I'm gathering so far, got shot by ICE agents. I already know. We're going to get ready for the FAFOs. Get ready for the it was justified type BS. But this is insane. Now, from what I'm understanding, higher elected officials are demanding that ICE leaves the city of Portland. And they're basically saying, get out our city and get your mind right before you start pulling your pew-pew and start pulling the damn trigger on these protesters. Two people got hit. Not one, two. We got to find out what's going on here. This is absolutely insane. Allegedly, there's going to be a press conference of some sort. I don't know if that's entirely accurate or not, but we're going to find out because that's what we're here for. But again, absolutely knuckin' futs. Let's get into this. So, U.S. border agents, ICE. Okay, I don't know why they say it fancy. They ICE. Okay, they pulled the trigger on two people in Portland, Oregon. Okay, officials say. So, just so you know, U.S. Customs and Border Protection agents shot two people in Portland, Oregon. Today, this afternoon, just a few hours ago, allegedly, according to the FBI. Oh, it's nice that they're sharing this at least, right? So Portland police and city officials have said. Portland police said their officers were called to the 102nd and Southeast Main Street at about 2:20 p.m., where they said they confirmed federal agents were involved in a pew-pewing. The condition of the two people who were hit wasn't immediately known, but Portland City Council President Elena Pertol-Guiney, hopefully I'm saying that right, said as far as she knew, they were still alive. Well, dagnabbit, at least they're still alive, right? Moving on, Portland police said at a 2:24, I don't know why they said that, but at 2:24, they had learned that a man had been hit, called to request help near Northeast 146th Avenue and East Burnside. Arriving officers found a man and a woman wounded from apparent GSWs. Police confirmed federal agents were also involved. The two people who were wounded were taken to the hospital. We are still in the early stages of this incident, said Chief Day. We understand the heightened emotion and tension many are feeling in the wake of the situation that happened, the tragedy that happened in Minneapolis, but I'm asking the public and the community to remain calm as we work to learn more. The FBI said on social media that it is investigating this actual shooting. A statement is suspected soon from the FBI. This tragedy came a day after ICE agents shot and took the life of a woman in Minneapolis. So, of course, this whole thing is still developing. Obviously, we're still trying to find out what the F is going on. But again, we still, we'll see how much information they do give us. Because here's the thing: if there weren't cameras rolling, they could say whatever the hell they want. I said it. Sorry, I'm just gonna be real. You can sit here and say all day long, oh, he was. They were both just like feral cats coming at us, right? If it's not caught on film, they can say whatever the F they want. So wondering if it was caught on film. I found out about this and I hopped on, so I'm learning about this as we go as well. Let's look over here. Let's take a look at this here. They got some live coverage going on, so let's let it cook.
Of course, police arriving and transporting both of those individuals in the vehicle to these regional hospitals. We'll continue to try and gather information. Again, one of the biggest questions we're hoping to get answers for you as soon as we can is the condition of those two individuals. For now, back to you guys.
Okay, Christina, thank you.
And who are they?
I do want to go back out live to.
Let's not forget this. Who they be? Who they is, right? Who are these particular people? That's what I'd like to know as well. Who they is. Who are they? I think we all want to know that too. Right? So, one second, guys. Sorry, I'm just taking care of something here. But yeah, I'd like to know who the F this is.
Adventist
or
Health,
who they
in
are.
Southeast Portland, very close to the scene. That Shelby Slaughter is there live. Shelby?
Yeah, hey guys, we are being told right now that a PIO, that's a public information officer, just got on scene, so you're going to come with us. We are at the Adventist Health Portland. We're going to get any updates we can right now, and we'll take it live. Okay. We're live right now, just so you know. I didn't know if there was anything you could share with us.
We're not doing interviews right now because this is not our scene.
Got it.
So they need to cover up a lie. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. Obviously, we don't know what to expect from anybody who's out there. But again, this is very vague, guys. This whole thing is very, very freaking vague.
Assisting.
Okay.
But we did want to get the initial statement out.
Yeah,
so our press release has everything, and I'm not permitted right now to speak on it officially. But I just wanted to interface with you all, let you know there's a press conference coming sometime tonight. Somewhere probably downtown.
Okay. And will PBB be leading that, or who should we expect?
I don't think we'll be leading that. No.
Okay.
We'll be involved.
MCSO maybe?
I think it'll probably be city leadership.
Got it.
Can I ask a clarifying question? Did the shooting happen here and then they drove back to the apartments?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
I
So the
appreciate
red tape you see over there, that's the primary crime scene.
Great.
So they got
So you guys
hit.
just heard from Sergeant Kevin Allen. He's a public information officer. He says the shooting happened here and then they went to the apartment. We're gonna get some more questions in.
There were shots fired in the lot, and the guy drove off. The car that was like the target.
That's in
that-
the press release. Yes.
Okay, that's wasn't clear, but okay.
One
It's
last
not
one.
crystal
Interesting.
clear. I understand that,
Okay.
but you have something you can report.
Are you able to share the condition on the people who are in the hospital?
Were they taken to two different hospitals, or were they taken all
I
here? I heard they may have been taken to one may have been taken elsewhere.
Probably. Typically, that's how it is, but I have not confirmed.
Typically, they don't.
Typically, they don't take patients to when they have, shootings. They'll usually take them to separate places. That's been my experience.
Even if they're in the hospital. Even if they're just
Wait a
right
second.
here.
So I see someone here. Thank you so much, Death by Booby. I'm sorry. That's kind of funny. I'm sorry. Like I said, I'm 12. Like imagine just bat. You know what I mean? Okay. It wasn't the candelabra. It was the booby. Moving on. Here's the thing. One unconfirmed account mentioned that the woman was actually hit in the chest and the man in the arm with their conditions unknown. Yeah, this is weird. Like they're not going to tell us anything. You see what I'm saying? I'm wondering what the hell is going on here, right? I think we all want to know what the hell is going on. Yeah, progressively independent. Yeah, it looks like it's again. And the fact that it's vague, this is the problem. The vagueness is the problem. Because here's the thing. For the narrative that they want to put out there to make it seem like these two were absolute tyrants or they were fearful for the ICE agents, the Border Patrol agents or whatever the hell you want to call them. These agents were scared for their lives and it wasn't depicted on camera. They could say whatever the hell they want right now. You realize that, right? They could change the narrative however they want. And that is not good. That gives me great pause. I don't want to hear that. I don't think any of us want to hear that. You see what I'm saying? I hope that there's some sort of footage somewhere. Where is it, and why haven't we seen this yet? But let's continue. Let's continue. This cop has no idea what's going on. Let me just make that abundantly clear. This cop has no earthly clue what's going on. Just so you know.
Okay. Did they drive themselves from the hospital to the Bria apartments?
I'm not doing interviews.
I know.
You're not doing any interviews.
Because the
I understand
release
there's a lot of.
it's not clear where
Shamalama ding dong.
whether it started here and continued and ended up at 146. Can you just
That's part of
clarify
the
that?
investigation, but I can tell you that our response was it's an officer.
Muffle some of the sound there because there are some upset people.
Oh, come on. Not again. Okay, fix that.
The shooting happened. It sounds like it was around where Shelby and them are, although it's not clear if it was at the hospital.
Right.
What we know is that they drove.
It's
to
within
where,
a block, though, from the
Exactly.
original address that we're hearing, for sure.
Yeah, and the public information officer with the Portland Police Bureau is there, and you heard Shelby ask, will they be investigating? The FBI is saying that they will lead this investigation because it was federal officers, so it's really unclear what role the police bureau, the local police bureau, play. They're trying to get answers now from him, but there is a lot for police still to investigate.
During the crime scene, and now the investigation.
Yeah, Shelby, can you hear us?
We're not seeing any witnesses out here. Can you explain maybe?
Yeah, I can't hear you guys right now. So Kevin Allen is right behind me. He's getting a phone call right now. He said there will be a press conference here in the coming hours. Looks like he's stepping away. But right, I did just hear you say in my ear, you're trying to get a better picture of where this happened. Since this is ending, my photographer, Felicia, we're going to try and get closer and show you.
Okay.
You guys see that red caution tape right there under the awning? That is where Kevin Allen said the shooting happened.
Oh.
He said he confirmed to me that the shooting happened, and then the two people drove themselves over to the Bria apartments where you're seeing Christina Jen at.
So that's something we're finally starting to understand. Okay, first off, the tragedy, this incident happened here, which is very weird. The incident happened here, of all places. It happened right here. It says medical office. I wonder what else is. I mean, I'm sure they're just medical offices, but I'm wondering what actually happened here, what transpired here, right? But then they jumped into a car and they drove themselves from it looks like an apartment complex. But if it's true and the woman or one of them got hit in the chest, anywhere in the chest, you're not driving to an apartment complex. You're driving your ass to the hospital and frantically calling 911 in the meantime. So if this is accurate, this is very interesting. But I digress. Let's continue on. This is weird. This is weird. But this is all breaking news, guys. So come on in here. We're trying to understand what the F is going on. So please get on in here. Don't forget to hit that like button. And of course, don't forget to subscribe. We're keeping an eye on all this and all the other stuff as well. There's a lot going on, guys. There's some other stuff that's going on internationally that we might have to tap into on this show because it may be a matter of great importance for all of us. And I'm talking about the world. I'm talking about all of us. So we may talk about that if we get some time. Let's continue.
Obviously, this is a developing situation right now. We are expecting a press release here in the coming hours. It hasn't been said who will be leading that press conference, especially because this isn't PPB's case, as we heard Alan say. So we don't know if that's the FBI who's going to be leading this press conference, but any details, we're going to bring them right here to you.
So are we clear that there is indeed a victim back at that hospital?
We are not clear if the victim
What the hell is going on?
Hospital, but what Kevin Allen just said is that the shooting did happen here, and then they drove themselves to the apartment. So where they've been at from there, I'm not sure. You might have heard me ask an update on their condition. He doesn't know that yet.
All right, Shelby Slaughter, thank you for staying on scene there.
Word.
And looking right now at where she is,
what in the hell is going on?
Looks like a medical office as well there, but also it is a full hospital. So they left there. We need to figure out exactly what happened in that parking lot. This is a look at the scene of where the shooting happened under that awning. If you're just joining us, federal agents shot 2 people right here at that scene. That's Adventist Health, Southeast Main and 102nd. The people who were shot then drove to 146th and Burnside and pulled over at an apartment and flagged down some people for help.
What?
That's where the police officers initially responded to this.
I'm sorry, we need to pause this for a second. Make that make sense. So they got hit, and a federal agent pulled the trigger on 2 people, if I'm correct, in front of a hospital or in front of a medical facility, said medical offices, right? And instead of them going inside the building to maybe get assistance, they jumped in their car and drove, it looks like 20 blocks down to an apartment complex. One's been allegedly, we don't know, but the rumors are saying one got hit in the chest and the other one got hit in the arm. Is this even true? That seems so asinine to me. Doesn't that seem ass backwards to you? You get hit right next to a medical facility, yet you, instead of going to inside the facility in which you got hit at, you go to an apartment that sounds like backwards, right? Like you should be, if you got hit at a apartment complex, you're driving your ass to the nearest medical facility you can think of, right? But then also at the same time, why would you even drive? Why not just call 911? Shorty, call 911. Why don't you call 911? That doesn't make any sense. That's weird. But I digress. I'm just asking logical questions. Maybe there's a logical explanation for this, but it seems a little ass backwards, like opposite day, right? I digress. Let them cook.
That was the first that they heard of the shooting. And I'm just going to
So
read
weird.
a little bit of the news release that the police officer was telling us about. And they said that they received the call at 2:18. They responded to Southeast Main Street on the report of the shooting. Officers confirmed federal agents had been involved. Portland police were not involved in this. 2:24 officers received information that the man who had been shot was calling, requesting help in the area at 146. You can see that's on the right side of your screen right there with that red dot.
Yeah.
And East Burnside. Officers responded, found a male and female with apparent gunshot wounds. They applied a tourniquet and called for emergency help. The patients were transported to the hospital, and their conditions at this point are unknown.
And earlier, Christina Giardelli was at that apartment for us all evening, and we saw FBI agents had arrived and were talking with police officers there. Christina, have you seen any more federal agents get there? What have they been doing behind you?
You know, I have a hard time trying to figure out which ones are PPB and potentially FBI because the badges are smaller. But as it appears right now, this is all PPB. There is a lot of commotion in this neighborhood. A lot of people feel very upset about what they're hearing right now. So it's not surprising that there is a large police presence here right now. But it doesn't appear that there is FBI in sight. That does not mean that they're not here. As I mentioned, we did see them earlier. So we will keep an eye out and let you know if they are here. We'll have Brian just pan over a little bit. Obviously, there's going to be other cameras and other neighbors over here to Brian's right as he pans the camera over. But you can see there are a lot of neighbors standing around, a lot of commotion here, and the tensions are high. We just watched an individual. It's hard to see in the view of the cars, but you can probably hear a little bit of shouting. There was an individual very upset that walked over to police. So just the tensions are high here. And as you mentioned, Portland Police Bureau urging people to remain calm. Obviously, we're seeing protests in Minneapolis over the shooting there. So this is just high tensions, high emotions, and we're monitoring this closely. And we'll follow up with you on that question you had, right, about FBI agents. Right now, not seeing any, but I will let you know as soon as I do. We'll go back to you guys for now, but we'll stay here and monitor.
Okay, Christina, thank you. We want to go a couple blocks down.
Okay, I'm pausing this for a second because we do have some stuff here, but it's just so strange. It's so strange. Hold on.
2 people here in Portland a short time ago, possibly around 2:30. Circumstances are unclear but the FBI is responding. They are investigating. We're told the agents who shot these individuals
Where Jennifer
are with
Singh.
U.S. Customs and Border Protection, not ICE. Once again, FBI will be investigating that. We're expecting a statement from the FBI soon, as well as statements from our local leaders here as soon as City Council gets back.
We have multiple crews out on in the field right now.
If you are just now joining us, local and federal sources tell ABC News that federal agents shot 2 people.
Sorry, guys. Hold on one second. Because there is a video apparently getting shared on the internets. This is insane. I'm sorry, guys, but this is not making any earthly sense. So developing 2 people shot during an ICE detention in Portland. Interesting. Let's see this. What is going on here?
Under that awning.
So now the question is, were they detained? Like, this is a ICE detention. Like this is what it's saying on this. Now, of course, we got to take everything with a grain of salt, but it is interesting that they're saying that they were actually hit during ICE detention. So what in the hell is going on here?
So we're gonna try to figure out a self-defense reason for the shooting? Is that the plan? Trying to figure it out? Oh yeah, no, he came at the officer with his legs walking.
I'm sorry. Came mad at him with his legs walking. Bars, though. So no more commentary from the peanut gallery, but still, this is very interesting, guys. I'm wondering what the F is going on here. I'm a little confused. I will be honest. I'm a little confused, but hopefully we will be seeing and hearing very soon some more breakdowns. And of course, a press conference is supposed to be happening here at some point. Preferably, hopefully very soon. Okay. So we can get kind of down to the nitty gritty, because it just doesn't make any earthly sense. Were these 2 detained and they try to, make a run for it? What actually happened here? Right. But 2 people actually hit by federal agents. Again, we just dealt with one yesterday and we're still dealing with the hangover of from yesterday. And now we got this, possibly. Like I said, this is weird.
Will join us live. And what type of officers do you see in your area?
Well, right now, we're only seeing Portland police officers on the scene. Again, this is the tail end of where the area is blocked off. This is 148th and Burnside. You can see the caution tape, and the scene is a little bit further down. The entire westbound lane of East Burnside is closed off to traffic at this moment. And again, I want to reiterate, this is not where the shooting happened. This is the area where the 2 people who were injured had reportedly drove over here or driven over here and were calling for help. And again, this is where they were transported from over to the hospital. Right now, it's quiet on this end. Again, most of the neighbors are on the other end where most of the vehicles are right now. And like Christina said, we cannot really tell if FBI is on scene at this time, and we do not know who exactly is leading this investigation. And you can see the MAX is here, the MAX blue line, and it is still running right now. But again, people are urged to be cautious. But again, not much going on this side, just blocked off for those who are wanting to go westbound on the sidewalk or on the road. But of course, we'll be in the area monitoring any other updates. But for now, back to you.
Jennifer Singh, thank you for that. If you're just now joining us, we are following breaking news in East Portland. Federal agents have shot 2 people. There are 2 very active scenes. We are monitoring reaction coming in now from our local and federal leaders. The mayor sent a statement within the last 30 minutes saying just one day after the horrific incident in Minnesota at the hands of federal agents, our community here in Portland is now grappling with another deeply troubling incident. Earlier this afternoon, 2 people were shot and injured by federal agents in the Hazelwood neighborhood. He is calling on the president to withdraw ICE from Portland until an investigation can be completed. He also urged Portlanders to remain calm, saying that we don't respond to violence with violence.
Now, I'm just going to read this for you guys. Okay, so this is a statement from Portland Mayor Keith Wilson. So just one day after the horrific violence in Minnesota at the hands of federal agents, our community here in Portland is now grappling with another deeply troubling incident. Earlier this afternoon, 2 people were hit, by federal agents in the Hazelwood neighborhood. We cannot sit by while constitutional protections erode and bloodshed mounts. Portland is not a training ground for militarized agents, and the quote unquote full force threatened by the administration has deadly consequences. As mayor, I call ICE to end all operations in Portland until a full investigation can be completed. I agree. So this news has spread like wildfire, and this is definitely happening. This is not just some fugazi, some fake news type ish. This is really happening. 2 people were hit, and people, now the mayor is responding. So this is not just some hoax. This actually happened, okay? And Republic, it doesn't matter if this channel is liberal or conservative. We're here to give you guys the news. That's all that matters. Why do people do that? Who cares? Moving on. Federal militarization undermines effective community-based public safety, and it runs counter to the values that define our region. I will use every legal and legislative tool available to protect our residents' civil and human rights. I call every Portlander to represent our values and to show up with calm and purpose during this difficult time. So in other words, he's like, I already know how they're going to be. I know how y'all going to be, so don't trip. Portlanders, do not trip. If you're going to come out here, please protest with love. Please protest with kindness. Please and thank you. Portland does not respond to violence with violence. We respond with clarity, unity, and a commitment to justice. We must stand together and protect Portland. The city of Portland will continue to provide updates as they become available. We are grateful to our first responders for their support of the victims. This is from the mayor. The mayor is saying, get the F out of town. ICE, get the F out of town until a full investigation can be completed. But don't you dare step 1 foot in this city of Portland. Don't you waste your time. And now, like I said earlier, Portland again? Portland again? Yeah, Portland again, guys. And you know for a fact, this makes me think of that movie PCU. Anybody remember that movie PCU with Jeremy Piven and who else was in that movie? Shoot, I don't remember. Okay, but that movie PCU, and there was a moment where they're like, he's like, okay, guys, we need to start protesting. You need some signs. And there was like a hardcore feminist group. They're like, oh, don't worry, we have our own. And it was like retractable signs that they had and stuff. David Spade, that's what it was. David Spade was the hardcore conservative. Yes. But anyway, where is that movie? No one's seen that movie. It's crazy. But anyway, it's interesting, right? It's interesting because I feel like that we're going to see that. Portland, they stay ready to protest. So again, they already have the retractable signs and everything. They probably have their signs sitting on the, they're not even, these signs don't even collect dust. That's how often they protest. So again, this is going to be a wild night, a wild couple. I don't know how long this is going to last for. I don't know, man. You know what I'm saying? Oh my God. Are we back to another Occupy such and such all over again? Oh, damn.
We have teams all over right now.
We have several crews out in the field. Actually, we'll get to you in just a minute. I do want to go back to Christina Giardelli. This is a very moving situation, but Christina is live at the scene in Southeast Portland.
Wrong person, I don't think.
Going on and step aside so you can see between, it appears, some of the neighbors or bystanders and police, a lot of yelling back and
Son
forth.
of a gun.
We'll be ready to pan out or hit the beep if there are curse words, because there have been some, I can tell you, but a lot of yelling going on towards Portland police right now. As I mentioned earlier, tensions are just high. There's a lot of emotion here. A lot of people, as we're telling them what's happening, as we're narrating this, are expressing frustration about this entire situation. They also want to know more. They want to know the condition of the individuals that were wounded. Unclear what this individual is yelling at police about right now, but we can tell the tensions are high, and police are doing their best to remain calm. From what we can see right now, there haven't been any escalations on their end that we can see, but we'll be monitoring the situation closely. Tensions are getting real high here. People are really upset about this situation, and we're watching this closely. We'll send it back to you guys and continue monitoring here.
Okay, thank you, Christina. And we do want to clarify, even though Portland police are the officers that people see on the scene and have it taped off at this point, they were not involved in the shooting earlier this afternoon.
They are just holding down that scene right now. We're told the FBI will be investigating. Jennifer Singh is live at that same scene that Christina's at, a couple blocks away. You're standing by with State Representative Ricky Ruiz.
Yes, I am. He is Representative District 50, just neighboring of here. And you've spoken out a lot about ICE and border protection patrols in the area. What's kind of your reaction to all this?
Well, first and foremost, this is just completely inhumane, what we're seeing, what we're experiencing. We just saw what happened in Minneapolis yesterday, and here we are today. As far as we know, Border Patrol shot 2 individuals, and I think they're in the hospital right now, but this is completely like abuse of power that we're experiencing, and I can't believe it's happening in our backyard.
And as state representative, what more are you going to do after this?
Well, there's no question. We start our legislative session in February. We have a lot of policies that we're going to bring introducing in the short session here in the next couple of weeks. We're going to do everything in our power to ensure that we're holding federal officers accountable and ensure that we're offering protections for those who are being taken advantage of by this administration.
And have you seen instances of Border and Customs Patrol in the area quite a bit?
Yes, especially in my area. I represent District 50, which is Gresham. We've seen an uptick of ICE agents patrolling, stopping people over, and we actually just got reports a couple of weeks ago of their, saying that they're utility workers and luring people out of their apartments and their homes to take them away. So no question, this has been happening for a long time.
All right, and any other message you have for the community right now?
Obviously, we have Portland police who was doing an investigation. I asked our community to please stay peaceful, let our law enforcement do the investigation, and just make sure that anything that we know and anything that Portland knows, I'm sure it will be shared to the public as soon as possible.
All right, thank you. Again, this is Representative Ricky Ruiz. I appreciate it. All right, Deb Wright, I'll send it back to you.
Okay, Jen, thank you very much. We are starting to hear from representatives, our congressional representatives. Senator Merkley recently posted a statement on X saying huge concern about a reported shooting of 2 individuals by federal agents outside Portland Adventist Hospital. My team and I are closely monitoring the situation and are working hard to get answers. I will share any updates as I learn more. Please keep protests of Trump's ICE CBP peaceful, as Trump wants to generate riots. Don't take the bait.
And that is a common message we're hearing from local leaders here as well. This all unfolded while City Council was in a just regular meeting. There was also a protest at City Hall involving this ICE activity in Portland. Tanvi Verma, you were at that
Here we
city
go.
council meeting. Just walk us through what happened when they all left the council chambers
This
and
is
what you've
crazy.
been hearing from them when they came back.
So, right, I'm going to give you the play-by-play. Like you said, we went to the city council meeting expecting nothing like this. In the middle of the meeting, abruptly, council president said they had to recess. She did not give a reason. We've never seen anything like that before. Then once she said that, councilors were rushed up to the 4th floor, the mayor's office, and then we saw Portland Police Chief Bob Day go up. We were speaking to protesters who were already outside the mayor's office. They were protesting the existence of the ICE facility out in South Portland. One of them told me that they got a tip that there was an ICE-related shooting. Turns out it was not ICE agents, it was federal agents from Customs and Border Patrol, but we did not know that at the time. Of course, we did our research, we got on the ground, and we were able to find some of those specifics and get them confirmed. But during this time, we were just hearing reports of protesters who got information off a police scanner. That's how we put it together. Then at around 3:40 in the timeline, the meeting began again at City Council, and that's when the council president said that basically there was a shooting involving federal agents and that 2 people were harmed, though thankfully they are alive. And there will now be a vigil here at around 6 p.m. according to a Democratic Socialist organizer. He says they're working with City Council to raise awareness on what happened today. They all unilaterally condemned it. Devin, right, I'll send it right back to you. We're here and updating you with more information as we get it.
So wait a second. They're doing a vigil. Why are they doing a vigil if no one lost their life? Why are they doing a vigil? That doesn't make any sense. Unless it's for Renee, Nicole Good, but that doesn't make any sense. Why would they do a vigil for the 2 if they're still alive? Now, if they lost their life, that makes sense to do a vigil, right? So maybe it is just for Renee, but that would be wild. Then they should say these, one of them lost their lives, or, you know what I mean? If there was any casualties here, we should know about that, right? So again, interesting. That must be for Renee. It's gotta be.
Okay, Thumby, thank you.
All right, let's take a live look now. Go back to Shelby Slaughter, who's on the scene of where the shooting happened, actually at the Adventist medical facilities. Shelby, show us that scene again and walk us through what you've learned.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on.
So I do want to point out here in this parking lot, you can see FBI agents here on scene. We also do have Portland Police on scene as well. And I know you guys have been reiterating this. This is not Portland Police's case, but they are on scene. The FBI is working on this case. Now, if we look over here to the left, you can see under this medical 3 office, that red caution tape, I am told that is where the shooting happened. So the shooting happened right over there in that area. And police tell me the 2 people drove themselves from that area to the area where you are seeing Christina and Jen. Now, I do want to note this is a medical center, so patients are actually going out the back door. We won't zoom in too closely because of their privacy, but we are seeing people being escorted here out the back door, and a lot of people are rightfully shaken up by this. And I do want to note here that Portland Police have said that there will be a press conference here in the coming hours. They haven't said
when, mother lover,
that, especially since, again, Portland Police is not leading this investigation. So we are waiting to hear if the FBI will be speaking tonight. But until then, I'm going to send it back to you guys.
Shelby, I have a question. If you can describe a little bit about where you are, because Adventist Health, there's the hospital and there are medical buildings. Is this the hospital, or is that are those medical buildings offices behind you?
Good question.
So the hospital is right here where you're seeing. We're going to point to that right there so you can get a lay of the land. There is the hospital. And then if you come over here, this is just I believe a health medical center. I haven't gotten too much clarity on what kind of medical treatments people come here, but we have seen people come in and out with patients, and doctors are coming out walking and making sure people get to their cars. So it is seemingly a place where patients are coming to get some kind of medical treatment. And again, Deb, to your question, it is very close to the hospital in the parking garage.
Shelby, thank you.
All right, we're going to give you a little reference of where this is all happening. We've got a map from the police bureau. Shelby Slaughter is at that red dot on the left side. You see I-205 running on the left side of your screen. That dot is where the shooting happened at Adventist Health. That other dot on the other side of the screen at 146th and Burnside is where these two people went after they were shot. That's where police bureau officers went and applied first aid. That's where the people drove to after they were shot.
That's an apartment complex area. Christina Giardinelli is at that location, 146th and Burnside. And Christina, I know you've been talking to witnesses, people who saw the victims.
Yeah, I have, Deb. And right now, I'm just going to step aside so you can see tensions are really escalating right now between police and some of the bystanders, some of the neighbors. We did just see the caution tape, the police tape extended. So they're moving people further back, and people were really upset about that move. There was a lot of yelling, some curse words, police doing their best, from what I can tell, to maintain their calm. They have not escalated or done anything. There have been hands reaching out over the caution tape. I did see just about a minute ago 3 FBI agents right on that corner where you're seeing Portland Police Bureau right now. FBI agents moving in towards the apartment complex. Unclear where they are at this point in time, but they did just walk into the getting upset.
God, I hate when they do that.
Here, and that
They must be trying to mute or edit. They must be trying to mute or like edit out the curse words that are happening at the same time. Hence the reason why there's such, it sounds like they're talking like in alien language. You know what I mean? That must be it. Why there's like that. It must be.
Anger is being at times directed towards the Portland Police Bureau, who I want to remind you, as of what we know right now, had nothing to do with the shooting that occurred. They are here monitoring this situation. FBI agents came in, and right around when that was happening, they moved the caution tape, which escalated some of the yelling at them. But they are standing there, as you can see. We'll continue to monitor this and bring you any updates that are going on as these tensions continue to escalate. For now, back to you guys.
Okay, Thembi, thank you.
I'm going to skip ahead.
Away, you can see that apartment complex Christina was at right behind Jen. And Jen, we understand you have someone standing by with you. Do they live in that area?
No, this is Cammie, correct? And she doesn't live in this area, but she's been protesting against the use of force and ICE over the past couple of months. Can you kind of describe why you're out here today?
Yeah, I'm out here today because I heard about that ICE had shot 2 Portland residents, and I just think that the violence that's happening is outrageous. So I had friends who were at City Hall and were trying to meet with the mayor to discuss with him what is going on and how ICE has been so violent and using such force in our area. We've been advocating for that for a while, and they were informed he was in an emergency meeting. And so then, as more information about the emergency has come out, we decided that we needed to protest here and show up as much as we can, because after seeing what happened in Minneapolis yesterday, we knew that tensions were going to rise, and obviously political violence is increasing, but just to see this happen, 2 people shot today in Portland right after that is so insane.
And what's kind of your message to, I know you don't live here, but people in the community here?
My message to people in the community here is that you have to fight back. We have to stand up against what is going on right now. These are our constitutional rights, and everything that we stand for as people who believe in rights for other humans, all of that is being threatened right now. This is violence that we've seen coming up for years. Police violence is not a new situation. Law enforcement violence is not new. People have been speaking up about this in Portland for a long time, and so we need people to show up and to make your rage heard, because we can't just sit at home being upset about this. You have to show up and show your rage, because this violence will continue unless we do something about it.
All right, Cammie, thank you. And again, we are right across the street from the scene. You can see Portland police are on scene. There's a large police presence. But again, this is not Portland police who are investigating or involved in the shooting. But that's all we know. We're still waiting for more information. And I'll send it back to you, Deb. Right.
Okay, Jen. Thank you so much. We want to show you a tweet that went up earlier this afternoon. It has since been deleted, but it is from Portland FBI office. And it says, FBI Portland is investigating an agent-involved shooting that happened at approximately 2:15 near the 10,000 block of Main Street in Portland, involving Customs and Border Patrol agents, in which 2 individuals were wounded. It remains active and ongoing investigation led by the FBI. Follow this thread for updates regarding the matter, but that tweet has since been deleted.
Now, I'm wondering why that got deleted. Obviously, we all want to know what the F is going on here. Even I'm looking over here to see if there's if they have anything here. And it's gone. You go to Portland's Twitter page, Twitter account, and it's gone. FBI Portland, it's gone. So it does make you wonder, why is this gone and suddenly deleted? It seems a little bit weird. Also, I want to point this out. ABC News is also covering this as well. They're even saying, hey, 2 people were hit in Portland, Oregon on Thursday afternoon. The FBI is responding, right? So again, this is very, very strange with all this. But this tweet has been erased. Why?
And Victor Park is actually like, Victor, we saw a number of unmarked police cars pull in and go under that awning. So walk us through the scene behind you and what those officers are doing.
Yeah, I want to make clear that this is the clinic right over here. There are several buildings. This is building 3 right here. We actually spoke to a couple who was being seen at this hospital, and they're being told that they were allowed to go inside, even though this scene is happening outside of the hospital, and that people are being escorted. Patients are being escorted in and out of the hospital. And then just a few feet down, this is where you see the awning right there. Then you see that truck. That truck is it's a black truck, appears to be from the FBI, because I did see several FBI agents around that. On the other side of that truck is where a car is at, and we've been watching that car for the last few minutes, and just sitting there with 2 doors open, both the driver's side and the passenger side, and then there's yellow tape around it. But what's interesting is that we see this yellow tape right in front of the car, which obviously you can't see now because of that truck. There is red tape, and typically that red tape is sort of a zone where only certain officers could go past that. As I've been covering so many different kinds of shootings involving officers, this time involving federal agents, but that is the scene right over here, just on the outside of that part of the clinic. Again, a lot of people coming here right now, a lot of spectators, people wanting to know exactly what happened. I should also mention that the patients that I spoke to came out. They had no clue what was going on. They were sort of shocked to see the amount of people here, the amount of news media members, and of course the amount of police. And I had told them what happened, and they were certainly shocked to also hear that this happened right outside the hospital or the clinic that they were at. And so that is sort of what's happening right now here, but I'll send it back to you in the studio.
Victor, I got a quick question. Can you see underneath that awning behind you? The police bureau has confirmed that's where the shooting happened. I'm wondering if can you see underneath that awning, or have they totally blocked it off?
We could. Let's actually go over here, Tim. He's on a tripod, so bear with me. But let's come over here and let's show you the awning, because it is right over there. I do see some federal agents right on just outside of the awning right there. And you see, actually, let's see this Portland police. This is the one that this officer, she's the one who appears to have been escorting people in and out of the hospital. So I want to make sure we're pointing that out, because again, if you have an appointment here, obviously you want to call the clinic and figure out if you could still go in. But that is what they've been seeing. But to answer your question, right, that is what we see underneath the awning. A lot of tape, a lot of yellow tape,
So
and then there's
crazy.
that red tape on the other side of that. And then just outside of the awning is where the car is at. I should also mention, because we've been talking about the scene at 146th and Burnside, that is 2.7 miles away from here. It's about an 11-minute drive. And so who knows what brought the 2 people to that location. But I should also mention that because I've been looking at the map and kind of figuring out, what it takes to go all the way over there. It's not a few blocks down from here. It's 2.7 miles away.
Okay, Victor, thank you. We do want to read some of the statements coming through from our representatives. This is from Maxine. Can I read the Congresswoman Dexter's comment for? Okay, there we go. She's released a statement saying, just one day after the horrific murder in Minneapolis, I received reports that 2 people in my district were shot by federal immigration officials this afternoon in East Portland. Both individuals are alive, but we do not know the extent of their injuries. ICE has done nothing but inject terror, chaos, and cruelty into our communities. Trump's immigration machine is using violence to control our communities. Straight out of the authoritarian playbook, ICE must immediately end all active operations in Portland. I will share more updates as they become available. I am demanding full accountability and transparency. I encourage our community to stay calm and show courage in this moment.
Shelby Slaughter speaking to DA Nathan Vasquez right now. He's just arrived on scene.
What do we need to do here?
I'm going to pause that really quick. So because some people are asking some questions on, and I want to grab some of these comments here. So on Rumble, LL Kona just asked this, and I responded, but I think it's a very interesting question. You don't think that the left is using this for negative media for the right, as basically as a distraction to get our minds off of Minnesota frauds and Walls allegedly paying a hitman to take out his rivals? I've never heard about the hitman thing with Walls. And then they said coincidence. And I honestly don't see, I don't see this as some sort of cover up by, for the right or cover up for the left to make the right look bad or anything like that. I mean, I think what happened in Minnesota is for real. I think that was absolutely 110% real. And then, of course, what's happening here, people are reporting it like, it seems real. We just haven't seen any footage of this tragedy actually happening, right? Of this tragic moment actually happening. But I don't think this is to feed, add more logs to the fire for the left. Not at all. Not at all. I think that what happened to Renee Nicole Good was most definitely real. You got someone who lost her life. She's no longer here. And it doesn't matter what side of the fence you were on. Someone lost their life. So that is real. And then this here seems real. I mean, you got everybody and their mama, including other news outlets outside of local news, talking about this as well. So again, this is all bad. This is all bad. And I don't think this has anything to do with any type of bias. This is all very, very bad. So we'll see what happens here. Let me look at some of these other comments here as well. And that's the other thing too. Like, it's really frustrating because I would hate to see Portland go back to resort back to where it was like 5 years ago. Just 5 years ago. If you really think about it, it was 6 years ago. Let's just say 6 years ago in 2020. Okay. Things really hit the fan back then. And it wasn't just Portland. It was also Seattle and other parts, other cities as well throughout the country that were just an absolute cluster F. So I ain't trying to get that to come back. You see what I'm saying? I don't want to see that come back. Hell to the hell no. Okay. Because that was bad. But let me see. Let me see what else. Just really quick. Yes, this is all crazy, Classic. This is all absolutely crazy. I'm still trying to wrap my mind around yesterday, for crying out loud. And that's the thing too. I know that there's going to be people of the likes of Tim Pool or something like that. They're going to sit there and just have their fingers crossed, praying for some sort of civil war. I'm telling you right now, because you know how it is. If you don't see any of his tweets, I mean, shoot, it seems like every 5 seconds he's going, oh my God, we're about to be in another civil war, everybody. Or he'll be like, oh, it's WW3. It's just about to happen. And the thing is we don't want to see that. I would hope none of us want to see that. I think we all want to see peace on earth. Am I right? So again, this is nuts. Okay. Little Timmy's still on there. Yeah, he's still on there. He's still making shows. He's still doing what he's doing. You know what I mean? He's still reporting the news and he still has a huge fan base. But like I said, it just, for a while there, he was like, civil war, just waiting for it, like praying for the thing to actually happen. It was insane. But anyway, I digress. Let us get into this. This is very interesting. I don't know who this person is, but they're about to interview this person. I guess he's somebody important. Especially with what all that happened in today over here. So let's take a look at this. And here's the thing. One other thing too. I want to point this out. And we have to be fair on both sides of the fence. So Robert just said, hey, FAFO liberals. Well, you never know. What if it's on the other shoe? What if this shoe is on the other foot? That's what I meant. What if the shoe is on the other foot? You see what I'm saying? I just think it's very, very wrong. And I think it's reckless if we're out here saying those kind of things. You know what I mean? It's kind of like when Charlie Kirk lost his life, people were celebrating and parading in the streets practically and celebrating his demise. You don't do that. It's the same thing as Rob Reiner losing his life. You see what I'm saying? Like those kind of things. You just don't say those things. You don't speak ill of sad and tragic situations like this happening. You know what I mean? That's all. Because God forbid this happens to you. You know what I'm saying?
Guys, I'll give you a moment to get set up. Yep. You can get on the other side of you.
Yep, no worries. DA Vasquez is about to speak about what happened here at this medical center.
Hey.
We're just waiting for some more cameras to get into position.
Oh, come on.
We're just waiting for some more cameras to get into position, but DA Nathan Vasquez is about to make a statement about what happened here.
Does she have a TikTok microphone in her freaking hand? They couldn't have given her a better microphone? Come on, y'all, because I got this mug turned all the way up, okay?
Here at this medical center where we know 2 people were shot by U.S. Immigration Enforcement. Okay. Whenever you're ready.
Everybody gets ready? Okay. Well, good evening, everyone. Of course,
Jesus.
I'm very concerned and about the events that have transpired here today. We are here from the district attorney's office to monitor, to assist, and to make sure that there's a thorough and complete investigation, that evidence is fully preserved, and that we're certainly hoping that we can get all of the facts about what transpired here today, and we will work to update the public as we go forward and get more information.
Who's the head investigator on this right now? I know PPP is not.
Right now, I don't have a lot to say about that as this investigation is starting to unfold, and certainly the different agencies involved are coming together. But we are working closely with Portland Police, and the FBI certainly is here. And we're making sure that they have all the resources that they need. And of course, our priority and main concern is that there's a thorough and complete investigation, that all facts that can be learned are obtained, and that we can get as much information as possible.
You were just
Very
The
man.
message to the community is that local officials are very carefully monitoring this, and we're making sure that the interests of this community are well represented, and this investigation is done in a thorough and complete manner.
Can you say anything about the scene? You were just over there. Thank you.
Everything's vague.
Okay, so you guys just heard from Nathan Vasquez. That was an impromptu press conference. As you just heard, he is going to let officials here do their jobs. That is the FBI that's on scene. And I did.
That was vague as hell, y'all.
To your question, because you were wondering who is coming here in these marked cars. That is an evidence response team with the FBI. So that's who we saw just come on scene right before Nathan Vasquez was on site. And he's going to let this play out. He's going to let everyone do their jobs on scene right now before his office takes the next steps. Again, we are expecting a press conference here in a matter of hours. He's still over here. Let me see if I can get him again. You guys can stay with us. DA Vasquez. Can I ask you one question? Are you able to say anything about this scene since you were just over there?
I cannot say anything about the scene. It's an ongoing investigation. So I can't comment on the scene.
Do you know anything about the victims? Okay. He just said that was not something he could comment on right now. But as you can see, he is going back into the scene right now. So any other updates we get, we'll bring them right here to you. Back to you guys.
Okay, thank you, Shelby, for going for that further step to asking that question. We do want to clarify, we do not know what led up to the shooting. This all took place about 2:15 outside of where Shelby is standing by outside the Adventist Medical Office building. About 2:15, then another call came in several minutes later. 2.5 miles, is that what it is? 2.5 miles away? Where Victor is at 146th and East Burnside, but we do not know what led up to this scene with the federal agents shooting those two people.
Yeah, I was just saying, Victor's the one that gave that great frame of reference that it's 2.5 miles those people drove from where they were shot, and there's a map of where that is. That red dot on the left side is where Shelby and Victor are at the medical clinic there. And the other dot is 146th and Burnside, where these individuals went. And as Deb said, we don't know what led up to the shooting. We are also monitoring a DHS, the Department of Homeland Security. They've not issued any statement. The FBI gave a very cursory statement, but that's since been deleted. So we really don't have any official word right now from federal agencies about what they're doing, about what happened here. And we've seen that DHS in the past has weighed in very quickly. So we'll keep monitoring that. We're just getting reaction from our elected leaders.
And the shooting scene, we did say it took place outside a medical center, but right across the street is the emergency room. That is where the main hospital is. You have to imagine there will be camera footage of what happened, what unfolded.
Exactly.
So I'm going to skip ahead
to Victor and Shelby there and see if they can spot cameras on that medical clinic, because that
tonight.
Yeah, I would assume that there's cameras in that building, and they probably have their hands on it, and they're probably saying, "Do not release this stuff to the public at all," knowing their track history. They're probably holding all that information, trying not to have this stuff exposed. So let's see what's going on here. Because I'm trying to find as much as I can here, but this is nuts.
145th to 148th of East Burnside. The westbound lanes are blocked off at this time, but the MAX does appear to still be running. Now, of course, we will still be out here talking with the neighbors and trying to get any additional updates that we can. But for now, I'll toss it back to you guys.
Okay, Jen, thank you.
All right, we have official word from the department.
Okay, so we got something else. I was just about to report this. I just found something, but they're also saying this too. So now they're saying that one of the people that was involved is part of the Venezuelan gang Tren de Agua. Tren de Aragua. I can't pronounce it, but nonetheless. Dun, dun, dun. So now they're saying that, oh, dear Lord, Aragua. Hopefully, I'm saying that right. Tren de Aragua. It's hard to say, but that gang from Venezuela. You know what I'm saying? That gang. Yeah, acetaminophen. So take a look at this. So at 2:19 Pacific Standard Time, U.S. Border Patrol agents were conducting a targeted vehicle stop in Portland, Oregon. The passenger of the vehicle and target is a Venezuelan illegal alien affiliated with the transnational Tren de Aragua P ring, or, prostitution ring, and involved in a recent situation in Portland. The vehicle driver is believed to be a member of the vicious Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua. When agents identified themselves to the vehicle occupants, the driver weaponized his vehicle and attempted to run over law enforcement agents. Oh, dear God. Hold on. Let me get this whole thing so we can see this together. So now they're saying, oh, dear Lord. Oh, holy cow. Oh, no one's going to believe this too. No one's going to believe this too, guys. No one is. This is what's so tragic about this situation. Wow. Hold on. Because we got a couple things from Homeland Security's Twitter page. Come on, bro. Okay, let's take a look at this. Couple things from Homeland Security's Twitter page. Okay, so here we go. This is crazy. Let's look at this. So I'm going to repeat that one more time. So at 2:19 Pacific Standard Time, U.S. Border Patrol agents were conducting a targeted vehicle stop in Portland, Oregon. The passenger of the vehicle and target is a Venezuelan illegal alien affiliated with the transnational Tren de Aragua ring. You know, they're part of the S ring, all right? S working ring, all right? And involved in a recent situation in Portland, the situation that we're dealing with right now. The vehicle driver is believed to be a member of the vicious Venezuelan gang, Tren de Aragua. When agents identified themselves to the vehicle occupants, the driver weaponized his vehicle and attempted to run over the law enforcement agents. So they did what Renee is alleged of doing. Fearing for his life and safety, an agent fired a defensive shot. The driver drove off with the passenger fleeing the scene. The situation is evolving and more information is forthcoming. So now they're saying that, again, somebody else was trying to get away or, was driving their car and they're saying tried to run over a law enforcement agent. Here's the thing. I said it before and I'm going to say it again. There's no footage that's been seen so far of the situation. So again, let me just say this. They can say anything they want. I'm sorry. But until we actually get footage, you know how some of the world is going to react. They're going to say, this is all BS. This is all cap. This is all BS. They're lying to us. Of course, another person used their car, blah, 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 right? Hold on. So let's continue on. That was posted about 32 minutes ago. Then here's another one. Okay. This is what Homeland Security reposted. Now, Tricia McLaughlin, I don't know who this is. Oh, Assistant Secretary of Homeland Security. Thank you so much. So she just retweeted this whole thing. It's the same thing that Homeland Security just put out. Okay. So again, ABC News is even talking about this. They're saying that these two were part of the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua. And that this particular person used their vehicle as a weapon as well. And then, of course, an agent fired, hitting both of them. The male got hit in the arm. The female allegedly, though these are alleged, allegedly she got hit in the chest. The female got hit in the chest, and a male allegedly got hit in the arm. We don't know if that's true or not. Okay, but still, we haven't gotten any confirmation of a name, any identification of these two, etc. And hopefully, they're going to say, "What's up?" Okay. Death by Booby just said the press conference is supposed to be at the top of the hour. Okay, good. So we'll get more information, but hopefully they got footage of what happened here too. Because again, this all happened. This is so strange. Again, this is very, very, very interesting. All right, but let's continue. Let's hear what ABC News is, talking about.
Local and federal sources tell ABC News that federal agents shot 2 people in Portland, Oregon. We're learning that the circumstances right now are a little unclear, but the FBI is responding. The agents who shot, we're told, are with U.S. Customs and Border Protection. The FBI will be investigating and as the lead agency. I want to bring in ABC News' Alex Stone, who is tracking the developments here. And Alex, I recognize that a lot of this is still very, very fluid. But what can you tell us so far?
Yeah, generally, what we know at this point, Alex, is a short time ago, and the FBI is responding right now that they will be the ones investigating this, that it was a shooting involving federal agents from U.S. Customs and Border Protection, not ICE, in the Portland area, and that there was a man and a woman, we're told, who were shot. They are being transported right now. There was a city council meeting that was going on for the Portland City Council. They have abruptly ended that or put that on hold right now. This is all unfolding at this point, but a shooting has occurred, Alex.
Interesting, right? Very, very interesting. And of course, they're correcting everybody, which makes sense. This isn't ICE. This was federal agents. But still, no matter what, very interesting that this went down the way it went down. Hold on, we're still looking at more just to see if there's anything else. Yeah, that's all that Homeland Security posted on their X account. But of course, that's just wild. They're like, hey, just so you know, these guys were, up to no good, and this, that, and the third, and they used their vehicle just like Renee, and tried to take out agents. Do you believe it? Do you not believe it? I'm gonna put up a poll here in a little bit to hear your thoughts on this, but this is absolutely crazy. Let's hear a little bit more.
Where K2 Shelby Slaughter joins us live. Shelby.
Yeah, Deb, let me show you exactly where this happened. Right where that sign is, it says Medical Office 3. There's some red caution tape. That's where you see FBI agents surrounding that red caution tape. We're seeing flashes happen over there, which I assume to be photos of the area. We also see that black, almost truck-looking vehicle where agents are coming in and out of to get tools to process this scene. And I do just also want to note here, this is an area where doctors and x-rays, and it's a medical building where medical things take place. And we are seeing staff try to get their cars because their cars were in this parking lot. So the FBI and Portland police are really trying to manage this scene. They have this caution tape up that you can see here that was trying to block this parking lot, but they had to take it down because so many staff members are trying to leave. Now, if you look a little deeper back here into the parking lot, you can see FBI agents are here. There's also a command truck back there that they're walking in and out of as they try to process this scene. And I also do want to note here that patients were inside this building when the shooting happened, and we are seeing patients being escorted out of the back to their cars safely. And if you were just joining us, District Attorney Nathan Vasquez was just on scene. We did watch him walk back into this parking lot where the scene is being processed. And he says that he's going to let the investigators do the work before any next steps are taken. Back to you guys.
Shelby, thank you. We want to go back out to the second scene. This is where the two people who were shot drove to about 2.5 miles away from that area. This is about 146th and East Burnside, where K2's Christina Giardinelli joins us live. And Christina, you've been there for the past couple hours. Can you explain to us how this scene has changed over the past couple hours?
Yeah, Deb, when I first got here, just a few people, mostly neighbors. Some of them actually witnessed the vehicle driving here, watching the person get out, at least one person get out of the vehicle wounded, describing blood in the vehicle as the person was getting out. And now that scene just growing and growing. A lot of people coming from around the city, not just neighbors here anymore, but what appear to be protesters, people masked, a lot of people also taking out their frustration with this situation on the Portland Police Bureau, yelling at them as they kind of move the scene around. Right now, things have calmed down. Not a lot going on with the bystanders, the individuals here, but we have seen just a little bit of tension and confrontation, sometimes even between one bystander and another. Some of the situations that we've often seen, for example, outside ICE, where there's a live streamer confronting another live streamer. So we've seen some of that going on here, but I want to give you a quick look at the apartment complex and what's going on. We have seen federal agents canvassing the apartments. So they were on the lower floors earlier, talking to some of the residents inside those apartments. And just a couple minutes ago, we saw them on the second floor. Now they're on the third floor. So if the camera zooms into that third floor just above there, there's federal agents waiting outside the door. They're knocking there. They appear to be canvassing all of the residents here. I can tell you that the vehicle the neighbors have described, a red truck we showed you earlier in the floor, we'll try and get eyes on it again in just a little bit, is on the other side of the complex. And around that red truck, we also saw a lot of FBI activity. So what's happening right now is the caution tape, the perimeter of this scene. We're seeing Portland police presence. They're monitoring the perimeter, but the investigating units are FBI agents, and they're canvassing this apartment complex right now. So that's what's going on here. As there's a number of bystanders, I'm actually starting to see some of the bystanders leave right now. So there's not as many people here as there were. This is a family residence area. There were families, there were kids here, so not a great place to hold a protest necessarily. A lot of these people actually leaving now, it seems like, and I have heard some of them just telling me a few minutes ago that they're headed towards the ICE facility where we have other crews on the ground there. So we'll be monitoring that situation as well as watching what federal agents are doing here at this scene. And back to you guys
they're
for
back.
now, but I'll keep my eyes on this.
They're back.
Christina, thank you so much for that. If you're just now joining us a couple minutes after 5 o'clock, we are following breaking news. Federal agents have shot 2 people in East Portland. Christina was reporting.
Okay, we heard that.
So they were trying to block the driveway when federal agents came in. That situation just cleared up. And now I'm joined by an activist, and this Jack.
By the way, I mean, more and more people as the night starts to grow, more and more people are coming out. And here's the thing, though. We don't know the full scope of everything. Now they're saying, somebody in the chat, I forgot who said it. I'm sorry. I apologize. But somebody in the chat said that allegedly there's going to be a press conference in about less than a half hour from now. So hopefully we're going to find out more information, but there may be no reason for them to be out here. I mean, there's going to be people out there no matter what, because they're not happy with what happened with Renee Good. And then, of course, they're not going to be happy with the fact that ICE is in their neighborhood at all and in their city no matter what. So there are going to be representation out here of protesters saying F ICE. But at the same time, I know that there's a lot more that are coming out because, they're mad about this, So again, I want to know what the hell's going on here. And I'm hoping, like I said, that there's full transparency in this press conference. Whenever this press conference allegedly is supposed to go down, I'm hoping that they give us some transparency. I think we all deserve that, don't you? Because you can't just say, oh, yeah, they're part of a Venezuelan gang and they're all bad and they're all illegals and they try to use a car on us, too. So for some odd reason, everybody wants to use a car on us. You know what I mean? You can't just say that without actually having full on proof. Not in this day and age. Not with with everything that's going on right now. You know what I mean? Especially with what happened yesterday. A lot of people are going to be like, we want transparency. F you with this, and you just saying that it's some guy, some bad guy, or some bad guy that's an illegal. Show us the proof, right? Hopefully they will. We'll see.
Dickinson, he's in a chicken outfit to shed light on what's been going on with the Trump administration. Jack, tell us a little bit. You were one of the first people to find out what happened. He found out by listening to the police scanners. Tell us about that.
Well, so it wasn't me personally. It was someone in one of the networks that I know. But yeah, we were tapped in to the police scanners, saw that there had been a shooting, and were able to connect the dots for it being ICE.
Yeah. What sort of protests are we going to expect tonight?
It's hard to say. I think one thing that Portlanders have indicated this year is that we know how to protest the right way. And so what I would like to see from our elected officials is not a lecture on the protesters to not take the bait and how to react. I'd like to see some action done to safeguard our communities.
All right. Thank you, Jack Dickinson.
Thank you. We have crews spread out all.
You heard that, right? So, and the blurring, you heard all the they're literally trying to edit stuff out in real time. That's why it sounds so weird, because people are screaming, saying F ICE and stuff like that. You know what I mean? They're cursing like a mug.
Across the city this hour, we are continuing to follow this breaking news. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have more response from our congressional leaders as well as leaders.
Skipping ahead. Check it out,
This afternoon in Southeast Portland, the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office was not involved in the shooting, nor were we on scene when it happened. My thoughts are with those who were injured during the shooting, their families, and anyone who witnessed it. Moments like this can create even greater fear, and I recognize the weight of emotion our country and now our community is carrying right now. The investigation is being conducted by the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
And that left shot there is the scene of the shooting at the medical clinics, Adventist Health medical clinics. Our federal agents on scene right now processing where the shooting happened. We have Jennifer Singh about 2.5 miles away at 146th and Burnside, where those individuals drove after being shot. Jennifer, what can you tell us? You've been talking to people out there. What have you learned?
Well, we have learned that there are still a lot of questions to be answered, actually, a lot of confusion. Right now, we're at 146th in Burnside. From 145th to 148th is closed off, but I'll let you take a look at the scene. There are a lot of people out here on the other side of the road in front of those apartment complexes is where we're told the two people who were shot were found. Now, again, we are still unclear why they were coming to this apartment complex specifically. Now, Portland police crews are on scene, as well as FBI. We have seen FBI agents going door to door, talking with what appear to be residents inside of the apartments. We're unclear why they are inside the apartments, what they're asking people in the area. But people here, honestly, are frustrated with what has happened in the community. That is the overall consensus that we are hearing from people tonight. Again, this is not where the shooting happened, but 2.5 miles away from where it happened, where the two people drove and then they were taken to the hospital. Now, again, officers on scene were able to provide medical care before they were taken to the hospital. And you can see Portland police walking along the sidewalk here. Again, Portland police are not involved in this situation, but they are assisting. Again, according to Portland police, they do not involve themselves with immigration and customs enforcement or Customs Border Protection patrols, but they do say they do want to protect the community and any threats to public safety. That is why they're on here on scene tonight. But again, this is right across the street from where the two people were found, and we are still waiting on more information. As you've heard, we've heard a lot of updates over the past hour from DHS as well as Portland Police, Multnomah County Sheriffs. I'll let you guys get to those, but for now, Jennifer Singh, K2 News.
Okay, Jen, thank you. Thank you so much. And as Jen just mentioned, details are emerging just about every minute. We're learning new information. In fact, at 6 o'clock tonight, Mayor Wilson will be holding a news briefing on the updating all of us as to what happened earlier this afternoon.
Earlier today, he sent a statement confirming the details of what happened, but he ended his statement with this: I call on every Portlander to represent our values and to show up with calm and purpose during this difficult time. Portland does not respond to violence with violence. He was urging people to respond calmly to what's transpired. We're still waiting to really figure out exactly what happened before the shooting.
This all happened east of 205, 102nd or so in Maine. This is near an Adventist hospital. It was outside of a medical facility at about 2:18 this afternoon. That's where we find K2's Victor Park, who's been standing by. And I know, Victor, you've seen agents go in and start setting things up tonight.
Indeed. In fact, that is where they are right now. In fact, it is a little bit difficult to see exactly the vehicle that they have been focusing on. But let's zoom out. I'm going to actually show you this picture right over here that I took earlier, and you could see that vehicle. It is a black Hyundai with a missing bumper. That car pretty damaged on the front, and you can see those two doors opened. That is the vehicle that they have been focusing on. The relation to this whole incident, it's unclear because, again, mind you that the two people were found 2.7 miles away. It's about an 11-minute drive without traffic from this location, and so we're obviously trying to figure out how this vehicle is involved. But again, we've been talking to patients here, and some of them have been telling us that they did not hear anything. For one, they were inside. This couple was inside of the clinic, did not hear anything. They came out and saw all the amount of police, the amount of media members, and that is when we broke the news to them, and they were certainly shocked. They said that they could not imagine something like this happening in their neighborhood, and so that is sort of the feeling around here. And again, Portland police has been asking people to leave the hospital and telling them, hey, go get to your car. And they've been escorting them from there. And so we've been watching that happening here at the hospital, but pretty calm over here right now. I'll send it back to you.
I got to roll that back. We got to look at that. I wanted to hear him. I just wanted to hear him finish saying what he was saying. But look at that. That is crazy, y'all. Take a look at that. So it was yeah, this is bad. That car is messed up. What happened here? What happened? Damn. Yeah, that car's done. Okay. Thanks, Debbie. I appreciate you holding it down. Go. Rest. Thank you. But yeah, this is absolutely crazy, guys. This is absolutely crazy. So okay. Because there's another live feed that's going on, and I want to pull that up too. Because this one ends, like 5 more minutes, and it's just them kind of repeating the same stuff. But it looks like there's other people speaking, as far as like witnesses giving their account on what happened, and I am kind of curious about what they have to say, because again, that car was, unless the car just showed up like that, you know what I'm saying? And I doubt it. So they must have smashed into, like, they must have, they were driving to try to get away. Then there was the bang bang, however many times the agent pulled his trigger, and then maybe they ran into other cars, kind of like Renee's situation, but they're in a hospital. Hopefully they're still alive. I mean, still, no matter what, we shouldn't see a casualty here. I would hope not to see a casualty here. We've already had enough death. Let's just be real. We've had enough. But it is interesting to see that car and just seeing how messed up it is. So it might have ran into other vehicles trying to get away. That's possible too. Anything's possible. But let's see what this interview is all about.
So tell us what you've been hearing, and it looks like you might have a live interview here too.
Christine, I do. Yeah, I'm here outside of City Hall with Olivia with the Democratic Socialists of America, and she's the organizer of a rally that's actually going to be kicking off in front of City Hall. And so, Olivia, I mean, you tell me, what do you plan to do here tonight? We have a small group so far. What's your plan for tonight?
We are planning to have a vigil and a rally to protest against what ICE is doing, which is essentially a hostile takeover of our cities. ICE has declared war on our cities, and we want to see full non-compliance at every level of government.
So you organized this pretty quickly. We just found out about this news, obviously, a few hours ago now. What was your reaction when you learned that federal agents had seemingly shot a man and a woman here on the streets of Portland?
It was horrifying, but it wasn't surprising. I mean, we saw what just happened yesterday in Minneapolis, where they shot a woman point blank in the face for driving. And I think it was only a matter of time before it happened elsewhere, because we have seen again and again ICE agents come out with guns drawn. They are itching for a fight. They are invading our cities. And it was only a matter of time before that escalated into more violence.
I know you say it was only a matter of time. So does that mean that you pretty much expected something like this to happen at some point?
Absolutely. Their whole mandate is to come into our communities and terrorize us. And that is what they've effectively done.
All right, and just sort of last thing, as we heard from DHS, they are saying that these 2 people involved in this shooting were from Venezuela, and they were they had gang affiliations. And so, when you hear that, and sort of as to justify what happened here, what do you think?
That is a complete deflection of what happened today. What happened today was attempted murder, and we should be issuing arrest warrants for the ICE agents that attempted murder today.
All right, so how long are you guys going to be out here tonight?
Wow.
Unclear.
Okay, you said
Starting
there's a vigil
at 6,
and a rally.
We'll have a vigil and a rally, probably around.
Okay, first off, here's the thing. She doesn't know. We don't know what really happened. You see what I'm saying? Like, listen, I'm all for speaking out and standing up for what you believe in. You have all the right in the world. That is your First Amendment right to speak and to do your thing. But I feel like it's, and yes, she is not playing, okay? She's definitely not playing Gemini. But here's the thing, though. It just seems a little reckless for you to just assume that these agents were straight up to no good and causing, trying to attempt to take the lives of these two people. We haven't seen any footage yet. This could literally be a situation where she's just jumping on her bias on one side without actually seeing the facts yet. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's why I'm hoping that this press conference, whenever it's supposed to happen, allegedly it's supposed to be happening in less than 15 minutes from now, I'm hoping that they come with receipts, proof. Because you can miss me with the nonsense to just say, oh, yeah, there were illegal immigrants and they were part of the Venezuelan gang, Tren de Aragua. Like, I feel like that would be very reckless, too. So show us the proof first. Same thing with this woman here. I get it. Totally down for the cause of having your voice be heard. But you don't know what actually happened here. So it's reckless to just instantly assume that ICE was just up to no good. Now, here's the thing. We already know that ICE has been very aggressive out here, okay? That's without question. We've seen countless videos. But what if this situation is different from Renee's? I'm just asking. Because I can't sit here and say, damn ICE, without actually hearing anything, seeing anything. So I'm hoping that they show us proof. They better not be like, we don't have anything. The cameras didn't work in the building, so we don't have any footage of that. I'd be like, yo, stop me with that. Stop with the nonsense. Miss me with that nonsense. Stop. That's when I'm going to start side-eyeing them. So I'm waiting for this press conference before I put out an opinion. And I feel like this lady should do that too. But that's just me. That's just me, y'all. Let us continue. And I see a bunch of y'all in here. I appreciate all y'all for being here. It really means a lot, okay? You guys could be watching anywhere else. And it's Kim. What's up? All the way from Canada. I forgot. Hey, what up? What up? It's been a minute. I know it's Kim's probably not watching anymore, but maybe not watching anymore. But I appreciate you. Thank you so much for the love. Of course, covering this stuff is what I do. When it's not, even when it's not fun, even when it's difficult, I'm still covering this stuff. So thank you so much for the super chat. I'm going to slowly kind of chip away at these super chats here in just a little bit. But here it is. Like I said, let's get the facts first before we start going into feelings. That's just me, though. Let's continue.
All right. Thank you, Olivia. And so obviously around Portland, people are gathering to either protest or have vigils about what happened here just a few hours ago.
Like I said, a vigil about a shooting, and those two are still allegedly alive. So why a vigil for people that are still alive if they are still alive? Asking for a friend. Let's move on.
Obviously, information is still limited. Things are still coming out almost minute by minute, but we'll be out here and seeing what the turnout's like. So for right now, back to you guys.
Thanks, Celine Stevens at City Hall. I just have to push back on a little bit of that interview there with the Democratic Socialists of America, because the truth is at this point, 3 hours in, this happened around 2:15 this afternoon in East Portland, we do not have those answers. Homeland Security saying this was a targeted vehicle stop and the driver weaponized his vehicle. That's when an agent fired a shot, fearing for his life and safety. NBC News reporting, echoing that, saying agent stopped a red Toyota whose driver attempted to flee, striking the agent. The agent fired at the vehicle. So at this point, the official response from Homeland Security, as well as some of NBC News reporting, seems to start to paint a picture that the shots may have been fired in self-defense. Again, it is early, and as we saw with Minnesota, you could expect witness accounts, video to trickle out, all of those. The FBI leading this investigation, hoping to get clarity as the evening sort of develops here.
Yeah, so important to stress calm in this situation because of what you said, the information slowly trickling out, limited information at that, but the more we know, it'll
But you can understand why emotions are high, not only in Portland and across the country, given the death of the 37-year-old woman, Renee Good, in Minneapolis yesterday, and federal officials leading that investigation as well, and a sort of heightened rhetoric in a woman who lost her life there. Again, the two people here, a 33-year-old man and 32-year-old woman, according to NBC News, in hospital. We do not know their conditions at this time.
And speaking of what happened in Minneapolis a day ago, let's bring in our Stephanie Domerat. Stephanie, what's the latest there?
Well, protests did continue in Minneapolis today. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz has the National Guard staged, ready to intervene if things get violent. So far, they have stayed largely peaceful, aside from a few isolated clashes with federal agents. Now, yesterday, 37-year-old Renee Good was fatally shot by an ICE agent during an immigration operation. This sparked national outrage and protests in several cities, including here in Portland last night and into today. Federal officials say there is an ongoing investigation into the Minnesota shooting, but Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem and Vice President J.D. Vance both say the ICE officer was shooting in self-defense. Governor Walz is calling for people in other cities, including here in Portland, to stand with Minneapolis.
And I will let those that want to push out false narratives, to slander or defame Renee Good, Minnesotans will tell her life story. Minnesotans will be there to defend her honor.
And of course, that sound was from before these shootings that happened in Portland this afternoon. Meanwhile, Mayor Wilson shared his support for Minnesotans earlier today. Again, before these shootings happened in Portland, he wrote, quote, "Portland stands with you, Minnesota. I warned Homeland Security leadership that their actions constituted a disaster in the making. Yesterday's horrific loss of life is the direct consequence of ignoring that warning. Making no mistake, this death was entirely preventable." Again, him speaking about that death in Minnesota. The ICE agent at the center of that shooting has been identified. His name is Jonathan Ross. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem says he was involved in a separate incident last summer where he was dragged by a car and injured while trying to arrest a sex offender. Governor Walz says the FBI has shut state officials out of that investigation into that shooting. David and Christine.
Possibly raises questions about the transparency of the federal investigation on the ground there. Steph, thanks. I appreciate the update there.
And now we want to go to our Alma McCarty. She's live at Northeast 146th Avenue and East Burnside. To be clear, this is the second location where officers showed up to find a man and a woman shot. Alma, what can you tell us?
Yeah, David, Christine, I can tell you that at this moment, it seems to be like a growing crowd, people who are interested in what is going on at this scene. I'm going to have my photographer, Kyle, kind of pan over to what we have been watching, which is some of the activity beyond the police tape, focused in on an apartment just in front of an apartment. We're not sure if they are in the parking lot there or in front of the door, but really focused in on this in terms of like taking pictures. We've seen FBI over here, investigators just kind of looking into what is going on. Again, like you said, this is really the second location. This is where the man and woman who were shot kind of ended up before calling Portland police. We are not sure what their situation is, what their condition is at this time, but we understand that they are both in the hospital. Now, I spoke with several people who live in this area who were arriving home from work or wanted to check out like what was going on. And they said that there has actually been a decent amount of ICE activity that has happened within the last several weeks within this area. So it's not the first time that they've heard of some sort of an ICE interaction with the public, something that really upsets some of the community and what have you. I also spoke with a neighbor who lives down the block who said that they heard some of the sirens, the activity. They were able to speak with Portland police at the time, who said that this was, where those two people had ended up, and they were being taken at that time to the hospital in an ambulance. And just a lot of heartbreak, I will say, in the conversations that I've had with people. Some people are pretty numb. They don't know how to take in what has happened. Other people are just, truly, truly outraged and truly heartbroken that a day after what happened in Minneapolis is happening here in the Rose City. So at this point, the investigation on this scene, at this location, it is still very much ongoing, very active. There are some police like liaison officers in the area to speak with some of the activists who have shown up. We also saw a pretty large police presence further down the block. We weren't sure exactly what they were getting ready to do, but that's what I can tell you about the situation out here this evening. We'll, of course, be keeping our eyes on the ground, speaking with some more people about what they have seen, what they have heard. But again, I can tell you that the general feeling out here is just heartbreak and really outrage over what happened.
And
Heartbreak and outrage there. I imagine a little bit of shock as well, all things considered. That's Alma McCarty on East Burnside, 146 in the Hazelwood neighborhood. You know, reaction just pouring in as we speak from local, state, and federal leaders here.
Our Devin Haskins is tracking that from the newsroom. Devin, what have you been hearing?
Yeah, David and Christine, we've heard from several politicians in the wake of this afternoon shooting here in Portland. And the latest response coming in from Multnomah County commissioners saying they're trying to learn what they can by their law enforcement partners, writing in part, quote, "What we can say now is enough is enough. The terror and violence ICE is causing in our neighborhoods must end now. The county will not stand by as the federal government attacks our neighbors." Goes on to say, "We stand united in our support for our immigrant and refugee neighbors." And earlier today, Mayor Keith Wilson issued the following.
People are upset. Some are on the verge of tears. Joining me now live is Enzo. He lives right down the street from where officers are staged. This again is where Portland police officers found the two people who had been shot by federal agents. So Enzo, talk to me. How did you find out about this? What do you make of this happening in your neighborhood?
Yeah, so I just live down the street on 146 in Stark. I was just at my house, you know, minding my own business, having a great day. And my girlfriend calls me and she says, "Hey, did you hear about what just happened?" Oh, yeah.
Sure, go for it.
Thank you. She says, "Hey, did you hear about what just did you hear about what happened?" And I was like, "No, what happened?" And so she sends me the article, and I look at it and I'm like, "Oh my God, this is right by our house. Like this is right in my neighborhood." And so, and like shortly after that, my stepdad and my mom arrived, and they were like, "We should go down there." So we, you know, just put on some coats, whatever, it's cold out here. And so we came down here, and now this is where I'm at. Yeah.
What do you make of seeing this? There's half a dozen police cruisers. There's like a dozen Portland police officers lined up. An entire block is taped off.
I mean, it's absolutely, I mean, at this point, it's ridiculous. And I think I wish I had all the answers, but I think that something needs to be done. And I'm actually not surprised because, you know, just yesterday, a woman was murdered. So I think we're at a point where it's just not surprising that these things are happening anymore. And I wish that there was something more that we could do about it. I don't know what we're supposed to do about it, you know, but this is ridiculous. Like, what are we supposed to do as a people in this type of climate? Like,
Okay, and so thank you for talking with us. Many protesters were here earlier tonight. There was some shouting between groups of people that has since calmed down. And we know the protesters are showing up at the ICE building downtown. But for now, we'll toss it back to you.
Blair Best on East Burnside this evening. We also
had been shot by those federal agents. And the second people here, not here, but earlier this afternoon around 2 p.m. heard that it was an emergency, they immediately said, you know, they assumed it was a shooting or somebody had been hurt by federal agents. And that sort of speaks to, you know, what's in people's minds, especially following that shooting that happened in Minneapolis yesterday. And so I also spoke with counselors after all that around an hour or so ago about their reaction to this. They were in a meeting and they had to go to recess when they found out what happened. And so we're going to go ahead and I believe take a listen to Counselor Avalos.
Anger, enragement about the way that the federal government, this pattern of violence continues to escalate. They continue to target our community. And as someone who represents the district with the most immigrants, and as a daughter of immigrants, this is personal.
Were you in the chambers when this occurred?
Yes.
Did you know immediately that this was a shooting related to federal agents, or when did you learn that?
We were in chambers, we were told to leave, and within a few minutes we were getting the information. So it was all happening pretty quickly, but we learned pretty quickly.
And so, you know, I've been out there at the ICE facility during the protests. So many reporters have. And I mean, I don't know if we've ever seen anything happen like this. We saw in Minneapolis, obviously yesterday, this happened to somebody. And now one day later, we're seeing it here on the streets of Portland. Just, you know, what do you have to say about that? And how does that make you feel?
It makes me feel like our president and his administration is incredibly dangerous and unstable. And every day it's getting worse. And we need our Congress to act immediately. There is no answer right now that is not impeach, convict, and remove this dangerous man who is threatening our communities. Our democracy cannot survive this.
Okay. Is there anything else that you want to add to tell Portlanders that may be watching this? I know there were people here already protesting 2 hours ago, and they were telling me that they're worried that inaction with things like the ICE facility and other things like that would lead to a death. And within an hour of them saying those words, this happened. So is there anything that you'd like to tell people that are watching at home off of that?
Absolutely. I understand your frustration, and I'm really doing every single thing in my power. Every single moment, we are trying to find new ways to interrupt these patterns of violence. And so I am committed to continue to do that. And I'm going to be up all night figuring it out.
So again, people are gathering out here at City Hall. I know they're also gathering in other areas in Portland too, like the ICE facility. There's probably around 30 people or so out here right now. There are some people with signs and flags, as you see behind me, but everything's remained peaceful. There hasn't even been really any acts of chanting or rallying just yet. I believe that's starting in a bit. Again, there's also going to be a vigil as a part of that rally. But for now, David and Christine, I'll toss it back to you.
Yeah, Councilor Candace Avalos there essentially saying, calling it a targeted vehicle stop of Venezuelan gang members. The driver tried to run over the agents, Homeland Security says, and that is when the agent fired a defensive shot.
Yeah, and they are calling it Operation Oregon, according to sources with NBC News. To give you a bit of a timeline here as to when this all happened, it happened this afternoon, starting at about 2:18 this afternoon near Adventist Health at 102nd and Southeast Main. That was when police got a report of a shooting. Then roughly 3 miles away to the east at about 2:24, a man called for help. Officers arrived. They found 2 people shot. According to NBC News sources, a 33-year-old male, 32-year-old woman. At this point, we do not know their conditions. We do not know where they're being treated.
Yeah.
Right now, the FBI is investigating, calling it a situation that involved Customs and Border Protection agents.
Yeah, the FBI calling this an assault, quote, on a federal officer. You can see the map there, the 2 scenes, the shooting scene, and then 146 in Burnside, an apartment complex. Homeland Security saying that actually the 2 people in the car took off in what we understand.
And we already know part of the Venezuela gang here. But I want to show this to you guys too, which is interesting. Well, this is something else. But they were showing a little bit. Hold on. They were just showing. Hold on. What the heck is it? It just went bye-bye. But I just wanted you to see, like, the press conference. They're waiting. If you can see in the top right-hand corner right here, this is supposed to happen. They're waiting. See? So Portland situation. So it's supposed to be happening anytime soon. But then they cut away to another situation that happened at a hospital in Brooklyn, allegedly. So just so you guys know, this is kind of what's going on. There's a bunch of things going on. This is old. JD Vance speaking. This was from this morning. We saw that this morning. They just played it again because if you go live, now they're talking about this other tragedy. This other incident that happened in a Brooklyn hospital. So as we wait, this press conference should be happening here any moment now. But we are waiting. We are definitely waiting. 1 second, everybody. Let's see what's going on here with her crappy microphone.
Investigation is right there under that medical office 3 sign. That is where you can see just a smidge of red police tape and FBI agents. That is where the shooting happened. And it is blocked here by this black truck, which agents are going in and out of to process the scene. And then there's also a command center back here towards the end of the parking lot. Again, it's mainly been FBI. I did see some evidence response team gear as well. And right, I know you've also been asking about whether or not there's cameras, and I've been looking and I haven't seen any cameras, but I can tell you now that for the most part, rather than some FBI agents, it looks pretty empty here in this medical center. We have seen staff and security walking out with patients, making sure that they get to their car safely. We are starting to see a couple protesters of ICE starting to come. I believe there's about 3 of them here now, but for the most part, it is a lot of coming and going. And I know I said this earlier, but at about 4 o'clock, officials told us they are expecting to have a press conference tonight. We don't know when that press conference will happen or by who, but we are expecting one here. We haven't been told any differently, but as of right now, the main focus is right there on that scene.
Okay, Shelby, thank you. Right now, we are awaiting Mayor Wilson to address the city as to what is happening. If we can take a live look, is that possible, of City Hall, where we are awaiting him? We can see people are just still setting up at this moment, but as soon as the mayor steps up to the podium, we'll be sure to bring that to you live.
I want to go back out to that hospital scene. Victor Park is just a little bit down the sidewalk from where Shelby was, a different vantage point. So, Victor, orient our viewers where you are in comparison to Shelby and what's behind you.
Yeah, we're probably at least 100 feet west of where Shelby is. And I could tell you that there are other protesters over here saying things to the security over here, and of course Portland police also, who's obviously here at the scene. But this is that awning that Shelby was talking about. This is a different angle, and you could see those FBI agents surrounding that area. We have been seeing a lot more pickup trucks from the FBI arriving here as they focus on a vehicle right there. I do want to bring this picture up because this is sort of going to show you what we are. It is a Hyundai sedan with front end damage, missing the front bumper, two of its doors, the front passenger and the driver's side door opened. How it's related to this whole incident, it's unclear because, I mean, mind you that according to investigators, the two people who were shot drove to the other location, which is about 2.7 miles away, 11 minutes from here. So we're still trying to figure that out too. But in the meantime, this is a clinic. This is described as a primary care center that's open until 5 p.m., which may explain why the parking lot is fairly empty, besides, being filled with the police officers and FBI agents here. So it's a primary care center. We did see some patients coming out. We've also seen staff members being escorted by Portland police to their cars. And we spoke to some patients who were inside. It was a couple that came out and said that they did not hear any gunshots, that they were surprised to see the amount of news media and the amount of police officers here. And when we asked them, what do you think about something like this involving federal agents happening here in Southeast Portland? And they said that they were certainly shocked to see that. But that is sort of the feeling right now. Again, this is a primary care center that is pretty much now closed, except with those federal agents as this investigation continues here. I'll send it back to you.
Victor Park, thank you for that. I want to take another live look. We're standing by waiting for Mayor Keith Wilson
Still waiting
to address us. He is at the Police Bureau headquarters. You can see there the podium set up. We have a team there as well. We're expecting an update on what's happened, and we'll go right to that live as soon as we're. It looks like.
It does look like they're getting ready. They're walking up to the podium right now.
About to go down. Let's go. Press conference, guys. Me.
The sheriff, some county commissioners have walked in.
It's about doggone time.
City councilors as well.
The police chief.
Let's go. All right. Let's rock and roll.
Council president. Portland City Council president. And you can see the mayor is arriving at this moment too. So we are just right now, as we see the process unfolding, you can see also Governor Tina Kotek standing behind the podium as well. We're just making sure all the audio is working, and we'll take a listen.
All right, good evening. My name is Mike Benner. I'm the Public Information Manager here at the Portland Police Bureau. I want to welcome everybody and thank you for joining us on such short notice. We're here to address the shooting incident involving federal agents in Southeast Portland earlier this afternoon. We have a number of speakers, including Mayor Keith Wilson, Governor Tina Kotek, and many others who I will let introduce themselves as they come to the podium. We will begin with Chief Bob Day, who will share some details about the shooting and then some of those remarks of his, and we'll go on from there. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. I'm going to share just a few details. As you're aware, this is still very active investigation, so information is limited and won't be speaking to a lot of specifics. But what I can say is that approximately 2:18 this afternoon, Portland police officers responded to the 10,000 block of Southeast Main Street on the report of a shooting. So it came in via a 911 call. Officers confirmed that federal agents had been involved in a shooting. Portland police were not involved in that incident. About 6 minutes later, at 2:24 p.m., officers received information once again through dispatch that a man who had been shot was calling and requesting help in the area of Northeast 146th and East Burnside. Our officers responded. We found a male and a female with apparent gunshot wounds. Officers applied a tourniquet and summoned emergency medical personnel. The patients were transported to local hospital, and their conditions at this time are unknown. Officers had determined that the two people who were injured in the shooting involving the federal agents from the earlier call. PPB officers secured both scenes, and this is a federal investigation. It's being led by the FBI. We have been in touch with them. We are, in regular contact. This is their responsibility, but when we have these type of events happen in the city, Portland Police Bureau does offer level of assistance. This is not any way, shape, or form immigration related on our end. We do not know the facts of this case. We are simply providing that traditional investigative support and perimeter support, which is minimal. But I do want to make it clear that we are out there, but we are not involved in immigration. And we at this time do not know if this is an immigration related event. We do not know which federal, as we know there are many federal agencies serving in the city of Portland right now. So as I said, it's a complex situation with a lot of different information coming out, but Portland Police is on the scene. I want to say, that I'm saddened.
Why are you up here then?
Here once again, in a difficult, challenging, complex situation, but I'm also incredibly grateful for Portlanders. I'm grateful for the way that we have continued to show up over the past year, and we have certainly been tested. And this is no small circumstance. The uncertainty and the fear and the sadness within our community is real. And as the chief law enforcement of the city of Portland, I recognize that. Our members recognize that. And we are doing everything in our power to maintain that level of peace and calm and safety. And I want to thank Portlanders who have continued to show up in this space as well, and hopeful that they will do so over the next couple of days, as I'm expecting many to want to express their frustration and disappointment with events today. As I said, this is early on. We do not know the cause, but we are engaged, and hopefully we'll have more information as the evening unfolds. I'm going to turn it over now to
this
Mayor
is
Wilson.
bull snish.
Thank you, Chief. And I just want to also just reiterate what he had talked about the city standing tall and really standing together. And I've been before you already too many times under these circumstances, but I'm grateful that every time I do make the call within such a short period of time, that the Madam Governor will answer the call, and all of the individuals standing behind me and all of our elected officials and community leaders are standing with us as well. And we've always stood together, and we will continue to stand together. Just one day after the horrific violence in Minnesota, our community here in Portland was witness to a moment of fear, confusion, and heartbreak. Earlier this afternoon, 2 people were shot and injured by federal agents in the Hazelwood neighborhood. Violence in our community is devastating. These are not statistics. These are human beings. Portland is not a training ground for militarized agents. When the administration talks about using full force, we are seeing what it means on our streets. The consequences are not abstract. They are felt in hospital rooms and living rooms, in the quiet moments when families try to make sense of what happened, what is happening. We know what the federal government says happened here. There was a time when we could take them at their word. That time is long past.
What?
That is why we are calling on ICE to halt all operations in Portland until
What?
a full and independent investigation can take place. Our community deserves answers. Our community deserves accountability. And most of all, our community deserves peace. Earlier today, I spoke with Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey. We shared not just our concerns, but our grief for the families who are suffering and grief for the recklessness of our federal government. The administration is trying to divide us. to pit communities against one another, to make us fear one another. Portland, this is a moment to hold each other close, to stand together, to remember that our strength has always come from community, compassion, and solidarity. Yesterday, Governor Walz made an appeal to all of us. Today, I want to say clearly that we stand with Minneapolis, we stand with Minnesota, we stand with Chicago, we stand with LA. We stand with every community that is hurting in our nation, every family that is afraid, every person who feels unseen or unheard. ICE agents and their Homeland Security leadership must fully be investigated and held responsible for the violence inflicted on the American people in Minnesota, in Portland, and in all the communities across America. The Federal Protective Service claims values such as service, integrity, honor, and vigilance. This is the moment to live those values.
What in
Not
the
behind
hell?
masks, not through intimidation.
What's
but
going
through
on here, guys?
Transparency, accountability, most of all, humanity. So thank you. I'd like to turn it over to the governor.
What the hell is going on here, guys?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Chief Day. Good evening.
What the hell is going
Oregonians.
on?
We are standing here today, united.
Wow. Wow, wow,
as a
wow, wow, wow.
state, wanting peace and safety in our communities. We are all shaken and outraged by another terrible, unnecessary, violent event instigated by the reckless agenda of the Trump administration. This time in our own state, in our largest city, coming just one day after the tragedy in Minnesota. While the details of the incident remain limited, one thing is very clear.
Limited details.
When a president endorses tearing families apart and attempts to govern through fear other than shared values, you foster an environment of lawlessness, recklessness. Trust is essential to maintaining community safety and the rule of law. Federal agents at the direction of the Department of Homeland Security are shattering trust. They are hurting people and they are destroying day by day what we hold dear, our sense of safety and our literal safety are severely undermined by what happened this afternoon in Portland. I'm so thankful that no one died and more people weren't hurt. The Attorney General and other leaders have been clear about our concerns with the excessive use of force by federal agents in Portland. And today's incident only heightens the need for transparency and accountability. Oregonians deserve clear answers. And I am aligned with Mayor. The priority right now is a full, completed investigation, not more detentions. My message to the federal government is this: we demand transparency. We demand your cooperation with Portland Police and the Multnomah County DA, because we need to investigate this incident efficiently and effectively so we can rebuild trust with our nation's government. There are those who want to cause chaos, but Oregonians know how to stand up and speak out peacefully. We must remain united in peaceful opposition to efforts to tear our community apart. We must not turn against each other. We must stand neighbor to neighbor. We must not take the bait. And I want to end by saying I'm grateful to the first responders who have been managing this incident today here in Portland. And we stand united with Americans across our country and with Minneapolis and Minnesota in light of these very troubling events. Thank you.
Wow,
I'd
this
like
is insane.
to hand over the podium to Senator Casey Jama, Democratic leader in the Oregon Senate.
So this whole lineup is blue, just so you know.
Well, good afternoon or good evening, everyone. My name is Senator Casey Chama. I also serve as the Senate Majority Leader. I live Hazelwood neighborhood. The incident took place not that far where I live in my home. I'm raising my two children. I live with my wife. I have a few messages, but let me start to say this one first. My prayer is to families and those who are hurt. And I hope they will recover speedily. As I said, I have been in the country about 28 years and I'm a former refugee. I have never thought I will see this moment in the United States of America. This is a challenging time for us. My colleagues and I are working together to ensure that we address this issue at the state legislative level. We want to do as best as we can to protect the Oregonians who are fearful, who are scared, who are facing persecution under federal law. So we're going to introduce quite a number of bills that will be will try to minimize the impact of ICE in our community. I'm outraged and angry and frustrated, as many Oregonians are. Let me speak to Oregonians. I share your frustration. And immigrant refugee community, let me talk directly to them. I share your fear. I share your challenges that we're all facing. And I know that the struggle is real. Let me say this to the Oregonians. Oregonians are welcoming. State of Oregon is welcoming state. We want to keep that way. We want to fight for that. We want to work hard for that. And we want to make sure that all Oregonians feel welcome. Let me say to this to the federal agencies and the ICE.
What happened? Come on back, internet. Over there.
See, we're having some technical difficulties there
This
with
is
that
Oregon.
news conference.
We do not need you. You're not welcome. You need to get the hell out of our community.
Same energy, guys. Same
now,
energy.
I want to turn to the
Oh, dear Lord.
podium to Multnomah County Chair Jessica Figabert Peterson.
Hamburger.
Good evening, everyone. If we were living in anything close to normal times, we would not be here right now.
Turn off your freaking phones.
Right now. We should not be here right now because federal agents should not be in Portland neighborhoods shooting people. We should not be here right now because Renee Nicole Good should be alive and with her family in Minnesota right now. I want everyone to know that Multnomah County stands united in support of our immigrant and refugee neighbors and everyone opposing this injustice. I am proud to be joined tonight by Commissioner Moyer, Commissioner Edwards, and Commissioner Jones-Dixon. Enough is enough. The terror and violence ICE is causing in our neighborhoods must end now. At this moment, we don't know what precipitated the incident, the circumstances that led to the shooting, or the identities of people involved. The FBI will be leading the investigation, and they need to allow local law enforcement to participate, and they need to be transparent and accountable to local governments. We know that this news is incredibly alarming and upsetting. We know what happens today speaks to a fear that we have had since last fall when federal law enforcement and immigration agents first increased their presence in our community. Multnomah County will not stand by as federal governments attack our neighbors. Just this morning, our board unanimously voted to extend an emergency declaration in response to the ongoing harm of ICE activity, and we will keep showing up in every way that we can. During our vote, I shared that over the holidays, my office received a string of emails and calls from neighbors in the Brentwood-Darlington neighborhood who are asking for help to find 2 neighbors who were kidnapped by federal agents the day after Christmas. Both of these people are the primary breadwinners for their families, and their children attend the local elementary school. As a parent, my heart breaks for their families and the whole community that has been impacted by these cruel actions. Add to this the horrific murder of Renee Nicole Good in Minnesota, the dozens of lives that have been lost in ICE detention this year, and now a shooting here in Portland. And we can only conclude that this federal activity is a threat to our entire community and is a threat that is growing every day. In light of this, our community is calling on us to act, to deploy resources to support the families impacted by federal activity, and to do all that's in our power to ensure the safety of neighbors going forward. That's what the state of Oregon, Portland, and Multnomah County leaders have done and will continue to do as we respond to this crisis. That's what the people of Portland have done, representing the best of Portland to the whole nation as we continue to stand up for injustice. Thank you to all of you who have come out to protest the cruel and authoritarian actions of this administration while representing Portland's values. Keep showing up the way you have been. Keep raising your voices. Keep showing everyone who we are. Our neighbors and the literal crosshairs of this administration need your support now more than ever. Our solidarity is our strength. These are dark times. There's no getting around that. But I know that together we will persevere. Thank you. And now I would like to turn it over to Portland City Councilor Loretta Smith.
This is crazy. I don't think you guys understand.
Good evening.
This is
My name is
crazy.
Loretta Smith, and I'm a counselor from District 1. I stand here with my other counselors, Counselor Candace Avalos and Jamie Dunphy. This situation just got real. This is not a PlayStation moment where you can shoot folks and they come back alive again. I live in that district. The struggle is already real for immigrants and refugees who live in our community, in our neighborhoods. And now I have to go home and tell my son and my 3 grandkids that they cannot stop for law enforcement because they're going to be afraid by looking at law enforcement that they might have the same thing happen to them that happened today. That is so unconscionable that just a day later, what happened in Minneapolis happening right here in Portland. This is very personal for me. And people who look like me, they shouldn't be afraid to walk around in their neighborhoods, walking to school in the morning with their kids. They should feel comfortable in their neighborhoods. And now we're disarmed now. We don't know who to trust. But I want to say here, I support the mayor, I support the governor in their efforts to do the things that we need to do to get ICE out of our state, in our city, in our neighborhoods. The harassment, the violence, the unconscionable walking around and infiltrating our communities as if we're some sort of third world country. It's not cool. And it's not something that we should support. I feel good, I feel strong standing next to my elected leaders and my community leaders behind me. We have to do whatever we need to do to make sure that ICE is no more.
Internet problems. Over there, not here, because obviously you can see.
You can see once again we're having some technical issues with
This
this.
is some
feed.
BS.
This is a news conference. We're hearing from state and local leaders. I think we might have audio back. Let's see. That's the mayor coming back up.
Good evening.
Actually, I'm pausing this. I'm bringing in another feed. Hold on one second, guys. Something a little better than this crap, because this is trash. Okay? Let's take a look at this. Roll it back a little bit without interruption. And we can see everybody's faces.
Neighborhoods, the harassment, the
There we go.
violence, the unconscionable walking around and infiltrating our communities.
Much
as if
better.
We're some sort of third world country. It's not cool. And it's not something that we should support. I feel good. I feel strong standing next to my elected leaders and my community leaders behind me. We have to do whatever we need to do to make sure that ICE is no more.
There
Thank
we
you.
go. Man, this is okay. First off, I'm going to pause it for a second. What's crazy, okay? What's crazy about this is that I'm still trying to wrap my mind around the fact that, first off, the police chief came up, he had no information. He was completely in the dark. I might have to play that again after this whole thing is done. But this is nuts, right? The fact that he's like, we don't know anything. They're still investigating. We have no idea what's going on. But then everybody else, their gut reaction is, this is trash, this is BS. ICE needs to get the hell out of our city. Is there something that they know that we don't know? You see what I'm saying?
I'd like to introduce Latino Network and Tony DeFalco.
Good evening. Tony DeFalco, Executive Director at Latino Network. We are hurting tonight in our community. We are tired of this violence in our community, and we're pissed off. Just last week, we buried one of our young people from gun violence, not less than a mile from this site at 148th and Burnside. This kind of violence is nothing new to our neighborhoods here in Portland and Multnomah County, and we've been working hard for decades to reduce this trend of gun violence by private individuals, but worse, by state-sponsored violence in our neighborhoods. And for this to happen tonight, in many ways, is not a surprise to us. It has been perpetrated upon us for many, many decades as part of routine operations to balance power against our community. So tonight, we have a few calls to action. One, we call on our state leadership to continue its efforts to minimize the role of federal authorities in our communities and to enact legislation in the short session that allows for private right to action, to sue, to enable our Attorney General and others to bring charges against the perpetrators of these violent acts, and to go even further to protect immigrant communities from this ongoing violence and oppression. Two, we desperately need investment in our community. We are picking up the pieces. 2 weeks ago, 2 mothers were taken from their families. And many in our community, the mothers are the glue that holds everything together. And by targeting mothers, they are trying to rip away the fabric of our very community. The ability to take care of our young people, to take care of entire families, and to match up breadwinners, resources that are coming in with the ability to get kids to school, get kids into preschool, is absolutely devastating to us. And we are desperately trying to fill the gaps by providing wraparound supports to our communities in the form of rent eviction prevention, food, other necessary things coming from these violent acts of detention and now physical violence. Those resources are not coming from our state yet. We need those resources to come from our state immediately. And last, we are gathering tonight to mourn this act of violence at Legacy Emmanuel Hospital, and we're asking all those that are watching or reading tonight to join us to honor all of those that have been impacted by these violent acts by our federal agencies over the last several months, and to know that we cannot be ripped apart. Despite these intentions of our federal government, we will continue to hold each other close and continue to be the strong fabric that our entire city, county, and state need from our Latino community. Thank you. Next up, Pastors Hennessy and Knutson.
They pulled
I'm
out.
not going to choose.
Come close. Come close. Good evening, everybody. My name is Reverend Dr. J.W. Matt Hennessy, the pastor of the historic Vancouver Avenue First Baptist Church here in Portland, and also the leader of the Interfaith Peace and Action Collaborative. My friends, I echo the very comments that have already been made, and I want to be clear about that. The comments of recognizing that the reason why federal agents are here is because of a false narrative in the first place. When people were told that Portland was on fire, Portland was burning. Portland is a great city, and it's a city I've been a member of for the last 37 years, and I'm not going to let anybody try to make it any worse. One thing's for sure, we have our issues, just like every city does, but we are determined to work together to make sure that we resolve the problems or issues or challenges we have, and we do not need help from the federal agencies to do more. If they want to do anything, they should go back and restore the grant money that was there that we use to build bridges with police and community. They ought to be thinking about how we restore money to bridges like the Burnside Bridge and things of that nature. That's what we need. But until then, we're not going to let anybody take our joy. We're not going to let anybody cause us to be afraid. And I want the immigrant community, and specifically, as Tony just spoke about the Latinx community, we are with you. As faith leaders, as members of the Black community, I want you to know you are our brothers and sisters, and nobody is going to stop us, and nobody is going to break the chain of our belief in working together. So we will work together. Those who came before us and the allies who worked with them, they had worse situations going on, but nothing stopped them. And I end on the fact that I still recall that one of my favorite verses of We Shall Overcome is the verse that says, we are not afraid. We are not afraid, and we will not be made to fear. We are going to rise above it, reach out to one another, and do everything that we can to work together, pray together, protest together, peacefully together. And remember, let's not take the bait. We can do this peacefully, and peace and love always win.
Thank you, Dr. Hennessy, and to the mayor and the governor. Thanks for your leadership and all the elected leaders, Chief Day, and all our friends, Tony and the rest. My name is Reverend Dr. W.J. Mark Knutson, Senior Pastor, Augustana Lutheran Church, a church that declared sanctuary my first year there 30 years ago because people were facing deportation. We're in a lawsuit right now with the federal government, with Pacun, our church, a church in Florida, a large Catholic church in San Diego, and the Interfaith Council of San Francisco. It's moving now quickly in the courts. And the National Education Association has joined that as well. So around this country and this city and state, people are weaving together a movement built on nonviolent direct action to challenge what is into something that can be new. I do want to say to the press today, we celebrate your work. You're not fake. You do real news, and you are storytellers. There wouldn't have been a civil rights movement or a farm workers movement in the same manner without the press being there to cover it. So thank you, and know you're valued. Let me say this. My 1 minute's almost up. I followed a Baptist pastor, so I can take a little bit more time.
Come on now.
But I want to say this. We're coming up on the King weekend. And a year ago, we backed our 30th King service back a week until this new administration came into office. Mayor, you came and spoke at that. And we packed the church. People were ready a year ago, January, to stand up and stand in solidarity. Our prayers are number one with our immigrant siblings, the couple that's in trouble today. We have members from 23 countries. I don't know if that's not one of our members from Venezuela and his wife. It's going through all of our minds. Some of my colleagues say, you were crying. I was crying. We are all crying. We are so torn in this moment, and with a very diverse family myself, as a white male, I can drive around, but my son, my wife, my grandson, daughter, others, our biggest extended family, it's dangerous out there. And so to know this, the faith community, interfaith, we work closely together in Oregon. Our Native American spiritual leaders on whose land we stand, Jewish leaders, Muslim leaders, Hindu leaders, Sikh leaders, Christian leaders, other people of faith and people of just goodwill to say enough is enough. This cannot continue. It is inhuman. With King's celebration coming up in just a week, his last couple sermons at Ebenezer and then at the National Cathedral and then at Riverside Church in New York, he said the biggest purveyor of violence in the world in 1968, the week before he was murdered, is our own government. Those words 60 years later train truly because we have sisters and brothers who are us, our brown and black siblings, our LGBTQ members are afraid tonight, and we should all be standing in fear and holding together one another and saying to this man in the White House, and I know you're watching, I'll call you out, study your scripture. Don't be doing theological malpractice. Study your scriptures. What does the Lord require of you? But to do justice, love kindness, walk humbly with the Creator and with one another. And in that spirit, Oregon, you've shown we can do this nonviolently. Read the six principles, nonviolent direct action, keep doing what you are doing in a peaceful way, we shall overcome. God bless all of you. God bless our elected leaders, our civic leaders. All of us together, we can do this. Thank you.
Nicely said.
I'd like to call up Jessica Maravilla with the ACLU.
Yeah, they got everybody up in this mug.
This is Tom.
Diggity damn.
Good evening. My name is Jessica Maravilla, and I'm the policy director for the ACLU of Oregon. We're an organization dedicated to protecting civil liberties and civil rights, and a core part of our work is defending immigrant and refugee rights. As you heard today, less than 24 hours after Renee Nicole Good was shot and killed by ICE in Minneapolis, 2 people in our communities were shot by ICE here in Portland. Our hearts are with those who were injured, their families, and with everyone carrying fear tonight, because this is not an isolated incident. This is the continuation of ICE harming our communities. While there is still much we don't know, we do know this. People are in the hospital tonight because of the actions taken by our federal government, funded by our tax dollars. And this did not happen in isolation. For months, federal immigration agencies have operated with impunity, deploying heavily armed agents into American communities, smashing car windows, dragging people from their vehicles, tear gassing peaceful protesters, and terrorizing neighborhoods. This is what it looks like when a government brings a war posture into everyday life, into streets, into sidewalks, in communities where people are supposed to be safe. Si sienten rabia, no están exagerando. Esta no es seguridad. No es seguridad pública. Es intimidación como política. Everyone deserves dignity. People deserve to go to work, to take their kids to school, to go to medical appointments, to live their everyday lives and stand in solidarity with neighbors being harmed without fear of being detained, harmed, or killed by the federal government. Nadie debería vivir con miedo simplemente por existir. No human being is collateral damage. Renee Good and the 2 community members shot today are human beings. They are our neighbors. Her death, alongside the violence we witness here today, is a warning about what happens when cruelty is normalized and accountability disappears. This is about law versus lawlessness, dignity versus fear, and whether we will tolerate violence carried out in our name. We cannot undo what has already happened, but we can refuse what comes next. We can demand accountability, insist on transparency, and stand together calmly, firmly, and peacefully to protect one another. La verdadera seguridad nace de la comunidad, del respeto y de los derechos humanos. Y eso es lo que seguiremos defendiendo juntos. We are working with our state elected leaders to advance legislation next month, and we want to demand more transparency, meaningful accountability, because public safety must never come at the expense of human rights. As our community is now saying, enough is enough. Not a slogan, as a practice. Thank you.
Buenas tardes, everyone. Mi nombre es Andrea Valderrama, el representante estatal del Distrito 47, Outer East Portland. Good evening, everyone. My name is Andrea Valderrama. I'm the state representative of House District 47, and I live in the Hazelwood neighborhood. I am horrified by the violence that we've heard about just down the street from my house where I was today. My heart goes out to those hurt today. I've been proud to be the first proven American to serve in the Oregon legislature. My family came to this country fleeing really the same type of violent tactics that we're seeing in my neighborhood and in this city and across this country today. And so it was so difficult to have yet another conversation with my daughter today about the violence that we're seeing in our neighborhood, and to hear from her the support that her school is providing for children who are terrified of walking home, who are terrified of participating in their extracurricular activities, who are unable to just pay attention in their classrooms. I absolutely stand against separating families, against destabilizing our kiddos and and our families in this moment. Our communities deserve to stay together. Everyone's families and mothers and children deserve to stay together. This legislative session, I'll be bringing forward legislation to continue to strengthen and protect child stabilization, post-detention, and deportation. And I'll share updates as soon as possible on the situation in my neighborhood. I think the last thing that I just wanted to share is, as we are horrified and as I continue to mourn and do what I can as a mother to remain calm and provide peaceful support to her, I continue to feel hope with all of the incredible leaders that we have in this state, from our governor all the way down to our school district, to our neighborhood. I know that in Oregon, we are resisting peacefully. We are resisting in the way that we can. And I want to thank everyone here today and the leaders, whether you are a fellow mom in the neighborhood or our state governor. I'm so appreciative of all of the support, and know that we continue to resist always and stand with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Valderrama, and to all of our speakers. We have some time for some Q&A right now. I just want to remind everyone, this event happened just a few hours ago. The investigation is just getting off the ground, and nobody in this room is directly involved with that investigation. So please keep that in mind. It would be irresponsible for anyone up here to speculate on what exactly happened. All that said, we thought it was important to address this incident. With that, we'll take Q&A. Please state your name and who you're with and who the question's for. We'll start with Anna Griffin.
Anna Griffin from the New York Times. Governor, Mayor, and Chief, what are you actually hearing from the feds right now? Are they communicating with you? It seems like we have very little detail locally.
Yeah, shortly after this event occurred, I did have a phone call with the Assistant Special Agent in charge here in Portland of the FBI, and we've been in regular communication with them. We, of course, were on scene, as I mentioned, out on 148th and Burnside, and as well as Portland Adventist, where federal officers were. So we quickly had, sergeants on scene to cooperate, to collaborate with their supervisors. So we are in communication as of just before this briefing, knowing that, we're in communication with one another. But it is their primary responsibility, primarily the lead. And so, as Mike already commented, it's, really would be speculation much beyond the fact that we are talking to one another in terms of, responsibilities, who's doing what, et cetera.
No, I've not spoken with the federal government at all.
I'm Chief Adrian Thomas with KPTV. DHS put out a statement this afternoon on this incident saying that one of the individuals was connected to a previous shooting in Portland. Is that true? Do you have any information on that? And what are the conditions of these two individuals right now?
Yeah, I'm familiar with the statement that was put out. I can't comment on whether or not that's the case. We don't know who these individuals are. We have not, they haven't been identified or shared their identification with us. And I don't know this. I don't know the condition of them at this time, just knowing that they were taken to local hospitals.
Will we ever find out their condition?
The incident in Minnesota, that there was surveillance video readily available after the incident. Are you aware of any surveillance video that may have captured this incident?
I'm not aware of any at this time. No, have not seen any.
Completely in the dark.
Do you know whether or not training or Arabla is active in Portland?
I don't have any information that would link that at this time. No. No, I've heard a lot of different comments. I don't want to comment on that. I can't be specific. I've heard different references, and I might be confusing some of that information. So, no, I don't have that specifically.
Is this a normal course of action? Is this standard procedure to have the FBI lead a shooting investigation and law enforcement involved shooting investigation inside the city limits?
Yeah, on the federal side, it is, yes. And I've been clear since we started down this road, in January of last year, that we've continued to keep open lines of communication with our federal partners, for, unfortunately, even moments like this. But on a local level, We value the ability to be able to pick up the phone, to call one another, to try and figure it out, understanding there's limitations as we have tried to work through over the last year. And so we are present in a role that's supportive of trying to make sure that this is done equitably and accurately, safely, but they are the primary lead on it. Okay, the question was whether or not there's been any evidence to support a statement that was made that the vehicle was weaponized in this event, correct? Is that the question? And we don't have any information on that. As I mentioned, we responded after the fact to both the shooting scene. Once we were at the shooting scene, the vehicle was already gone, because then 6 or 7 minutes later, we responded to where the victims had called 911. So we don't have any firsthand information. Excuse me? Yes, there were federal officers both at the original scene, and then federal officers met us out at the scene farther away. But we don't have any information to confirm or deny, the behavior of the vehicle, the use of the vehicle.
Yes. I know recently federal agencies, DHS, has asked you for investigative files related to arrests. Are you in a position to be able to ask for the same thing of these federal officers? Is the FBI going to keep you apprised? Are you in a position to be able to ask for records related to the investigation the same way they've asked the police bureau?
Well, the question is whether or not we are in a position to ask for records, documentation in a manner similar to how the Department of Justice is asking them of the Portland Police Bureau right now. I think you're referencing our settlement agreement. So it's not quite an apples to apples comparison. There's, a couple of different things there that are nuanced. Certainly there is an opportunity for whether it be the city of Portland or the state of Oregon to make a request for that information. I mean, from a public record standpoint, whether or not, that process will bear any fruit, I don't know. But it's different than the conversation we're having around the Department of Justice utilizing or attempting to utilize settlement agreement to retrieve information that we believe they don't need to have access to. Well, this is uncharted territory for us. I'm not exactly sure. Frankly, there's a lot of competing interests, as we know, in this area. I value, like I said, our local partnerships and the communication and transparency that we have shared. But there's also a lot of cooks in the kitchen here with a lot of strong opinions. And all I can say is, in the moment, we have had lines of communication. Whether that will change or not over the course of time, I don't know.
Man, this is crazy.
No, I don't have the details of that right now.
Nothing. He's got nothing. It's horse-nish.
Today, what is your assessment regarding the national trend in terms of involving ICE, border patrol agents, and so on and so forth? They're always right. So what makes us believe that any investigation that they conduct will be accurate, just, and real? And what is the role of our authorities locally to unravel, to counter, if you're not involved at all? What makes us believe that they are already sacrificing and saying things online and in public, outlets, that these people were from Tengarawa, that they were from the Constitution Ring, and so on and so forth? I mean, they already made the judgment. In Minnesota, you already saw this. They stepped away from.
It's a long-ass question.
And kept that investigation with just the FBI, which obviously is going to lean towards benefiting the federal government entirely. I don't trust the federal government whatsoever. So what are we doing, to counter that kind of misinformation they provide?
Yeah, and just to summarize, want to make sure I'm hearing the question correctly, is, what are we doing specifically to challenge or potentially counter the narrative or the description of events or the results of the investigations, et cetera? And this has really been sort of the crux of the conversation over the last year, and it's something that weighs heavily on me as a local law enforcement leader, what is the position not only of, myself, but also the Portland Police Bureau in general. We are, actively working with as many folks as we can, whether it be our city attorney, the attorney general's office, the governor's office, et cetera, the mayor. We are constantly evaluating what is our role. The challenge I think that many of us are facing, understandably so, is the want for certainty, the want for clarity, and what saddens me in this process is the tearing down of legitimacy around law enforcement, and something that we have worked so hard for in this community. I stood here just a moment ago thinking that this is really an example about how joy and sorrow can coexist at the same time, because this room represents something that's unique in terms of, as a police chief, in terms of the relationship for community. So I hear what you're saying, and to answer your question specifically, at any opportunity that we have that we're able to step in, much like we are doing tonight, we try to take advantage of that, and not take advantage of that in a bad way, take advantage of that in a sense that we want to be available to determine as much information as we can to try and bring legitimacy to the process. But there are, longstanding historical court decisions and authorities granted to the federal government that are certainly being tested over the last year in the area specific of policing. And we rely upon, the counsel of, others, attorneys, and the rulings from judges. We saw this in the court case that we had with the National Guard. You had 3 Portland police commanders testify. We were the only ones who testified on behalf of the city of Portland, was 3 Portland police leaders over the course of 2 days, which the judge agreed with to prevent the National Guard from being deployed in Portland. And that was based upon the work we had been doing in terms of gathering information, staying true to the rule of law, being factual in our reporting. So the best that I can offer, and I know this is hollow and not enough, but the best that I can offer is that Portland Police Bureau will continue to adhere to the rule of law. We will continue to document. We will continue to be engaged. We will continue to be vigilant. We will continue to report behavior that is illegal or certainly outside the lines. But we are also going to continue to show up for all of Portlanders.
We have time for one more. Go ahead.
John Rudolph. Brief question. Homeland Security put out a tweet on X a couple of hours ago alleging a whole array of facts about the shooting. Have you seen that?
Yes, I have, but I have no information to verify the validity or accuracy of it.
Natalie Frederick with Politico. My question is for the governor.
This work, support PERC and all the other organizations you heard from here tonight. Because
have you reached out to the White House? Are you trying to have a conversation with him about this?
Well, this is a fast-moving situation just from this afternoon. I have not spoken to anyone in the administration, but I have been in contact with Governor Walz in Minnesota. And I just want to reiterate that we in Oregon are shocked and saddened by what happened in Minneapolis, and that Americans across the country, including governors, are standing together to say we need something to change from the federal government. There's always a moment that things can be better and different. Maybe this will be that moment where we actually have partnership with our federal government to understand the facts, get to the bottom of this, and stop the violence in our communities. And I know that governors around the country believe that. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
All right. Thank you to all of our speakers. Thank you for being here again on such short notice. At this point, I do not anticipate another briefing or news conference this evening, but I know my team and the communications team for the city is engaged and will be throughout the coming hours and days. So be on the lookout for communication from our teams. With that, thank you for being here and have a safe evening. You guys want to start?
Oh, I got stiff legs.
You do with stiff legs.
What's going on? How are you, sir?
Hey,
always good to see you.
So that brings to an end a lengthy press conference from Oregon officials.
Okay. First off, yeah, it was a big fat ass nothing burger. 45 minutes of them just talking, all getting an opportunity to say their piece, which of course is understandable. They, all elected officials, all the people that run this town, this city, all had something to say, which is understandable. But at the same time, you'd hope that they would come in and say, okay, this is exactly what happened. And DHS was telling the truth. this is exactly what happened, and nothing's changed, right? And we're going to dive in more information to see what's really going on. But unfortunately, they said we have nothing. We have no idea what's going on. They're as much in the dark as we are. But we have 2 people that are in the hospital. God knows where they are. God knows what hospital they're at. God knows if they're even alive. We don't know anything. They don't know anything. And all they did was, okay, their knee-jerk reaction is, ICE, get the hell out of our city. They should be gone. They should not be doing any activities in this city until this investigation is looked into thoroughly. But you know for a fact that's not going to change anything. Kristi Noem's going to have all those people out there. There's still going to be boots on the ground. In fact, wait for them to bulk up the attendance, bulk up the amount of troops, agents, and whatnot that are over there in Portland. Wait for it. Just like what they're doing in Minneapolis. They said, even J.D. Vance himself said it in an interview. He's like, we're not stopping. We're augmenting even more. We are going to start going door to door. Start taking people who are illegals. We don't care. We're going to take them all. This is nuts. Let me just hear just a little bit of this, see what's going on here.
Governor Kotek says that there have been concerns for quite some time about the potential excessive use of force in Oregon by federal agents. She said that the president is fostering an environment of recklessness and that the Department of Homeland Security is shattering trust, their sense of safety, and their literal safety.
Yeah, guys, this is all just getting really messy. And here's the thing. Yesterday, we had somebody lose their life. Whether you think that it was justified or not, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, somebody indeed, that is a fact. Somebody did indeed lose their life. Renee Nicole Good lost her life. Now we got 2 people that have been hit. And now we don't have any information. That's the other question too, Rose City. I'd like to know that too. Why hasn't there been an FBI press conference? If this is federal agents, if this is Border Patrol agents, whatever they call them, right? If they were there and they're the only ones with the information, why hasn't there been a conversation and a press conference where there's full transparency from the FBI? I think we all would like to know that, right? It's odd. It's odd if you ask me, but let me get some of these super chats. Ellie Mae, thank you so much for becoming a member. Welcome to the family. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for becoming a member. Welcome to the family. And just like Ellie Mae, I'm sorry, please consider becoming a member, hitting that join button down below. Samantha Joy, thank you so much for the love. Hey, Pascal, it was Border Patrol agents. Yes, not ICE this time. Thank you so much. Yes. I fixed it as well. So thank you, Ellie Mae. Thank you so much for the super stickers. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so very much. Jaslyn, thank you so much. Someone most likely has phone footage of it. If it was in favor of the left, CNN and ABC, etc., would have had it everywhere by now. We would have heard, the footage would be everywhere right now. I think that if someone did have footage, it would be everywhere right now, but it's not. So where is it? If there's footage, where is it at? GJ Wicked, thank you so much for the love. Don't forget Keith Powers, who was hit by ICE in LA. I mean, there's been a lot of people that have been hit by ICE as well. And all of them pretty much have lived to tell the tale. Right? So again, interesting. The fact that we haven't heard anything from the feds just seems a bit odd to me. Now, it might not mean anything. It might mean nothing to you. The fact that we don't have any information. But to me, this rings this is ringing very loudly. And I know some are having the gut reaction of, oh, this is definitely, this is a cover up. I don't know about that. I don't know if it's a cover up. But I will say, I'm not liking what we just heard today or tonight. I don't like what we heard tonight. And I don't have any good feelings about what's about to transpire over the next couple days, couple weeks. Here's the other thing, too. There's a lot of things that are going on overseas as well, guys. You got Denmark saying, we will shoot first and ask questions later. Sorry to jump over to, up north real quick. All right. Northwest. But we do need to chat about that for a second. Right. You have Denmark that is basically saying, F you, you're not taking Greenland. And if you try to come in and try to take Greenland, you guys will be sadly mistaken in thinking that we will just hand over the keys to this country. We will shoot first and ask questions later. So that's what's going on right now, too. There's a lot of things allegedly going on in Gaza, a lot of things that are going on with Israel. Apparently, like I said, there's a lot of rumors that are spinning off this planet right now about a lot of things that are happening and just happening in all simultaneously. So again, right now, inner turmoil would not be the best thing right now, as far as domestically, especially with a lot of things that are starting to brew over with Greenland. Let's not forget the oil tanker that the U.S. took over that was going towards Russia. We seized it. Well, America seized it. Something like 50 million gallons of oil that now Trump is saying that he's going to look over the money. He's going to hold on to the money, but he's going to divvy it out to the respective people when that oil is actually sold. I'm not kidding. This is actually this happened over the last few days. I'm not kidding. Like I said, I keep saying, I highly recommend you guys go and check out and follow my Facebook page because there's so much stuff going on. I mean, I feel like we are putting up a new article every 15, 30 minutes. 15 to 30 minutes, it feels like. Within business hours, of course, or within a reasonable time, because, we all have to sleep and all that. But at the same time, there's just so much information and so much stuff going on in real time. It's just insane. And it's all foreign and domestic stuff that's going on, especially with everything that's going on with over in Minnesota or Minneapolis. Now you got Portland, Oregon. There's all kinds of crazy stuff going on. But nonetheless, they're saying, like, I guess there's a pizza index that's gone uber high now. There's like Pizza Watch. Like when the Pentagon orders a bunch of pizza, they literally look into that, which is so weird. But again, they're like, yo, things are about to go down, right? I don't know about all that. But what I do know is Trump is looking at Greenland quite a bit. And he's going to go after it. He doesn't care. But he has to worry about how the rest of the world is going to react to this, especially his good friend Putin. Oh, Russia, Russia, Russia. You don't think Putin's going to be happy or going to be cool with that? He's not even happy with the fact that U.S. just took this oil tanker. He's not happy about that at all. Okay? So I don't know, guys. We are everything. When they say, when Trump says it's the hottest country, like right now we're on fire, So what's coming? I wish I just had a heads up so I can just be prepared. You know? This is some crazy stuff, guys. Well, hopefully we get some more information about what actually happened to these two that actually got shot. Hopefully we get some more information about that. I don't like the fact that we haven't heard anything about it. I think that's trash. I think that's weird that the feds aren't willing to give us all the information. All they said is, oh, they were two illegals. That's it? Where's the proof? Give us the footage, at least. If there's footage, show us the footage so we can move on. But I'm going to keep an eye on this. We'll find out more information soon enough. But that is the show. I appreciate all y'all for being here. Really means a lot. Thank you so much for tuning in, being a part of the conversation. Of course, if there's more information, I will let you guys know about all that very, very soon. All right. I'm keeping an eye on so many different things. There are so many things going on at the same damn time. And if anything's popping off, you know, I'll be hopping on here live to tell you guys all about it, breaking the news for you. So do me a favor before you head out. Hit that like button down below. Crush it. Do what it do. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on these other platforms. If you are watching on these other platforms like Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, Twitch, Kick, make sure you're hitting that follow button. All right. Remember, I'm on TikTok. I'm back on TikTok. The Pascal Show 1. The Pascal Show #1. Go check it out. Hit that follow button, please and thank you. Don't forget to subscribe here on my YouTube channel, please and thank you. Go to my second channel, The Pascal Show Clips, and check out my third channel, Pascal Raw. Subscribe to those channels. Hit that notification bell. Set it to all so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because it is random. A lot of this stuff is breaking news stuff, so it is random for now. So please make sure to do that. Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Check out my Patreon if you want to support even further. Okay? Check out PascalMerch.com. We got some really great stuff over there as well. All right, guys, it's time to get going. Have a great rest of your night. And if anything's popping off, I'll be back on to give you guys that news. But until then, we'll be talking here very soon. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.